On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voices strong, knowledge tight, thorough black talk in the air, changing minds, changing flair. From Brother Tad to Sister K, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcia brings the heat, Brother Blacksmith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Thursday nights, the world will see Black Power Media on the spree. Facebook, YouTube, all aligned, breaking free from every bind. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Ancestral line.
Standing strong on the bridge tonight. We got dreams and we got fight. Voices loud in the city's light. Change is coming into sight. History told by scars and pain. Echoes deep in every name. Legal truths we must reclaim. Through the storm and through the rain. Thorough black talk review. With Brother Tad, Sister K, Sister Marcia, Brother Blacksmith. Cut the check or no vote, yeah. Justice calls from open skies. Tis the fall, ain't no disguise. Marching forward, no surprise. Strength in hearts you can't downsize. Every voice a sweet refrain. In this fight we share the strain. Through the joy and through the pain, bound together like a chain. Thorough black talk review. With Brother Tad, Sister K, Sister Marcia, Brother Blacksmith. Cut the check or no vote, yeah.
Good evening, family. Welcome to another edition of Thorough Black Talk with your Sister K Fighter, Brother Tad, Sister Marcia, and Brother Blacksmith. Welcome to the Brooklyn Bridge. Let me get my brother from another mother, my brother from another neighborhood. We from the same borough. If you know, you know. The OG Wisdom Podcast, very own Brother Tad, up on the Brooklyn Bridge. What's happening, brother?
Peace, sis. How you feeling? Peace to the family out there. It's good to have you back, sis.
Good to be back. Good to be back. We got a lot to discuss.
Yes, we do.
So much has been happening.
I was looking for my seatbelt tonight. I was like, damn, where's my seatbelt? Buckle up for this one.
Because Tad been starting trouble over there on Facebook. But
I've been chilling. Asking critical questions, though.
You did, but it seems like, I don't know, brains went out the window. And I think your questions were quite simple.
Very. But our folks aren't they're not well studied. And I guess that's why we use the C word tonight. The cult.
There you go.
The cult of personality. And shout out to Dr. Sukiyana. And you know, just want to give Dr. Umar a shout out. The Prince of Pan-Africanism.
He didn't get no dates. He didn't get no $500 dates.
Yeah, I don't know what this week's grift is, but I think he said the right thing. He was on the Danza Project. Shout out to them, and he said he's not going to talk about the school until the school is done now. Which I mean, we won't hear from him anymore.
Great, nice. While we wait for my brother Blacksmith and Sister Marcia to get in here, let's get some shout outs real quick. Sister Aruba 927, Doggy Diamond TV mods on the check-in. What's happening, sis? Buckle up.
My sister. We was hanging out a couple of weeks ago too. Me and Sister Aruba. Yeah. You know, because she's from the hood.
That's right. She's from the block.
Young brother. That's right. You know, her brothers, those my peoples.
Yep. You see that? Small world, family. You never know who knows who. You see that? That's why I'm talking bad about people unless I'm ready to put hands to foot. You know what I mean? So if I talk bad about you, that means I'm ready to get in your chest.
Sis, you know what I always find funny?
Brother Martin, County on the Brooklyn Bridge. What's happening, big bro, big sis? Hope all is well with you. K Rush, Big Rush Warrior. That's the fan right there. Philly in the building. What's happening? Brother Leonard, my other brother from another mother. What's happening, bro? How are you? Yes. We appreciate y'all. Also, you know, we're going to have our duo back up on the Brooklyn Bridge too. Brother Divine, Sister Brooke.
I saw a clip of Brother Divine the other day, and I listened to your clip too. You was on fire. I was telling the dog about your clip too. It was like, yo, Sister Keisha went in and she gave you a shout out.
That's right. I gotta mention the family. The family. Shout out to Sister BX Gatekeeper for giving us that interview. But Brother Divine been giving the one too. He been pushing heavy. U.S. Freeman Project President. We are glad to have him back as well. And of course, our Sister Brooke will be joining us as well. You know, she don't want to say it, but I'll say it. She's definitely a leader in the reparations movement, and she takes no shorts. If you want to know about what's happening with New York politics, you got to follow Sister Brooke, because she goes in heavy, and she pulls no punches with a lot of these suckers out here. So, Sister Marcia, are you ready? You are? Give me a thumbs up, sis. Give me a thumbs up. There you go. Sister Marcia up on the Brooklyn Bridge. What's happening, sis?
Peace, sis.
She got the kitties. She got the kitties in tonight. So.
Yo, peace, family. How's everyone today? It is good to see you again. It's been a week. It's been a missing week. 2 weeks? 1 week.
Yeah.
Missed y'all.
He's off for a week.
And I had my interview today to get on the Juneteenth board of the city of New York. So hopefully I'll get something back real soon. Because I'm not playing with people. You know, they asked the question, you know, why did I think I belong on the board? First of all, my ancestors, 2 of them, fought in the Civil War for your freedom so you can have a holiday in the first place. You know, I started out just like that. But hopefully I'll get back soon.
Let them know. Let them understand. Because people just don't understand the deepness.
That's right. Our other mod from Baltimore, be more in the building. What's up, Sister Marie? What's happening? Gotta give the educator some love. And she definitely is one of those. So, you know, we ready to get into it. Brother Black, you ready? Now, y'all pray for Brother Black now. Bringing the Bronx up on the Brooklyn Bridge. Welcome to the Brooklyn Bridge. Our brother Blacksmith. What's happening?
What's up, y'all? I see Tad with the alien sign up. I see Wing Yal up on deck. And I see my sister Keisha out here holding the ones and twos down. Peace to the panel. Peace to the family. You listening?
Peace, Brother Black.
For those that watch this video after it's done. Peace.
Brother Black,
Happy Black Thursday.
Yes, I was about to say, Sister Marcy, you ain't say that.
Don't fall in his realm. Don't fall in his realm.
I say it today.
This is a welcome back party, and we don't want to start no trouble.
It is. You know, I got to keep the pressure down. I got to keep cool. So don't rile me up, Brother Black. But I know some things have been happening in the news, Brother Black. You know, what have you been noticing of late? Before we really get into it, what are some of the things that have been tweaking your brain cells over the last week since we weren't here? Go ahead, Brother Black.
It's slowly but surely coming out. I believe most of us know this already. Slowly but surely coming out that this 3-eye atlas thing is real. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying the tenor of what I'm hearing is basically saying this is a real event and shit is about to go down. I'm also hearing more and more like what happened with Malcolm Jamal a few months ago. The same with D'Angelo, that there was reasons to take him out of here. Of course, he would have knew more details about Angie Stone's business because they used to be a couple. So, not really much else because, like I confided into this audience a few weeks ago. I'm going through my own thing right now. I'm still going through it. Things are slowly working out, slowly but surely. But I haven't really been too hard on the blogs lately. But when I have, it's usually about what's happening currently or what's about to happen. This government shutdown, I don't know if y'all saw my last article. I posted it yesterday. It's basically saying they shutting it down to coincide with this 3-eye atlas event and so on and so forth. Over 600,000 people got furloughed. Now, that's a nice way of saying laid off or fired, if you will. It doesn't mean you lost your job, but, 600,000 people ain't going to return once this thing is over, if it's even over, because I believe, and I've said this previously on this show, I believe it's all dovetailing into one dynamic, like a triangle. So it's all coming to a point. And I still believe that the president, whether you like him or not, is the representative of all that on this earth. And this is why it's happening here and now, with that said. And with that said, I'm done. I believe Charlie Kirk also was a way to distract us to begin that level of distraction going into the beginning of November when it's supposed to land, as they say. So with that, I yield.
Your thoughts on what he said, Sister Marcia?
It's just like a reboot of COVID. So many of our people were let go or lost their positions during that particular time. So this is ways to, the numbers that they couldn't take out with the jab, they're taken out with the furloughs, right? So it's really interesting, and make sure you know where your savings are, and if you plant some food, you're not going to struggle. So tell you, farming is the new
anyway. We can struggle anyway because, at any given time, your assets could be seized in this country.
That's true. But if you know how to... But if you know how to cultivate the land, you know how to get an animal and feed your family, raise ahead of it.
And that's why I rock out with Sister Marcia. See, I'm going to be eating. Because, see, her mama love me too. So I'm going to be eating. Her son love me. So I'm going to be eating. Y'all be having the wrong type of friends. That's what's wrong with y'all. But what I didn't notice, in New York, Chinatown, dun, 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 ice pulled up heavy. Let's take a look at this clip and we'll come right back and we'll discuss.
Everybody got a right to live. Shame on you! 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 Shame on you!
Woo! No, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. You know, they pretty much said, you know, he just bothering the Latinos. They just bothering the Latinos. But off rip, Chinatown has about over 100,000 in this city. Excuse me, that came through Chinatown. In this city that are illegal. They got to go. They got to go. So I don't know where y'all gonna be getting your counterfeit goods from, but Brother Tad, your thoughts on that swoop down in Chinatown?
Oh man, the foxy liberals. First, I want to address something Black said too. If Trump is the representative for these out of spacers / out of towners, we in trouble. if Trump is our representative, we in trouble. But on a serious note, and this may sound crazy, but I'm signed with the law enforcement. If they here to arrest and deport those who have broken the law, came here illegally, citizens need to step out the way. Because sure enough, as he said, Black, 600,000 got laid off. I bet you the migrants aren't getting laid off. I bet you they're getting money under the table. So monies that you can be getting, jobs that you can have legally and get paid proper wages, you're pretty much training your assassin. These people are going to replace you. And you don't get it because of false narratives in the news and the politics of it all. Why do I say that? In Chinatown, we know we have Chinese immigrants. We know a lot of them are working off their debt for getting smuggled into this country, whether you know it or not. Not only that, you also have African immigrants who may not be here legally, may be sponsored, may have a visa, a student visa, whatever, and have overstayed their welcome. So here it is. You have an administration trying to get this economy back on track for the U.S. citizens, those of us who pay taxes. And meanwhile, you got a bunch of liberals protecting those who are pretty much living with their hands in our pockets. We're crying about not having enough money, but a lot of our tax-paying dollars are going to social services to support those who haven't applied for citizenship properly. I'm not saying it's wrong to come here and be an immigrant or migrant. I'm not saying that. But if you broke the law to obtain something, that is illegal. In fact, in courts, if you're a criminal and the police obtain some evidence to incriminate you, they could catch you with the smoking gun. But if they obtained it illegally, it's inadmissible in court. It's called the fruit of a tainted tree. That means even if you're dead to right, if you broke the law to do something that may be correct, it's still wrong because you broke the law to do it. And that's what I'm talking about, these migrants. Ain't nothing wrong with becoming a citizen, but do it the right way. Don't hop the gate. Now you on my property and you think you belong here just because you made it past the gate or you cut a hole in the fence. That's not how it goes. What I also think is messed up, and I'm going to pass the mic, is that because of the bureaucracy and the politics of it all, that the ICE agents don't get the support of the NYPD. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Sister Keisha, but aren't all law enforcement sworn to uphold the United States Constitution? So if you're allowing people that are here illegally and you're not supporting your fellow law enforcement officer, aren't you violating that oath to uphold the United States Constitution that only applies to U.S. citizens, whether naturalized or naturally born? This is something that we really have to start questioning and putting on our thinking caps. And with that, I'm off my soapbox.
Sister Marcia, your thoughts on this throwdown in Chinatown.
I found two things really interesting. One, when I was viewing the reports or reading stuff online, I only saw them focus on Black folks or African folks. I didn't see many of the people that live in that community per se being arrested and having the plastic shackles on and stuff like that. The other thing I found interesting was that woman who stood in front of the truck, and they're making her seem as if she's a martyr or the real American woman to stand guard for the people that Tad just eloquently explained that aren't really about business if they're coming through traffic ways. And, my parents are immigrants. They came here through their own process, but there is this situation or the subject of those who are trafficked and those who just smuggle themselves in, and how that works for the people who reside in a community and their place and being above those who are already here, and for the system that exists, who, let's not trick ourselves, have always placed those who come in over us, even in times of bondage, that the fresh boat, the newer people, they're more important. They're, we got to place them first. They're put on the chopping block first, all of those things, because they'll be more submissive. They'll be more to the plan of the rules, stuff like that. So all of those is, points of conversation. And but that woman, let's talk about that woman. What did you think about that woman in front of the, whatever they think?
I'd have ran that ass over.
Period. You was a damn fool. You was a damn fool.
That's obstructing justice. That's interfering with their duties.
Yeah,
that is a criminal offense.
Obstruction of justice. That's easy. Yeah. That's no problem with that. It's just like the Chinese dude in Tiananmen Square that got ran over by the tank. You in the way. Yeah. Get the fuck out. Excuse me. Get out the way if you want to get ran over by a tank.
That's what Luda said.
You ain't got no chance with no tank. Even a 45 ain't doing nothing to that.
And you help to harbor criminals. These folks are criminals. No matter the color, they are criminals. You have broken international law. Probably, yeah. Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. It's just like, no. Let me just chill, because we got to move on.
We're having conversation. We're having conversation. Why we got to chill for?
No, yeah, we got to move on to some other things. But also in the news, Marvin Winans. Shout out to Doggy Diamonds TV. Where y'all church folks at? How come y'all not protesting in front of his church, condemning this type of behavior? But let's get into it and we'll come right back.
Hey, Roberta McCoy, giving faith and stand in unity with the vision of perfecting church of sowing this seed of $1,000 plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all that participated.
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna work on the other 800.
Well, that ain't what I asked you to do.
Roberta.
Your thoughts, Brother Black, on this fiasco?
if that don't tell, if this don't tell Christians or those who are religious, whether it be Jewish or Islamic, that religion ain't nothing but a business, then nothing ever will. I mean, a man of God is refusing an amount of money you can pay rent with for most cities in this country. And even if he didn't appreciate it, he should have did that privately. You don't do that in front of. I mean, this is how arrogant. Whether it's you believe in that or not, I'm not getting into the belief of what you believe in. I'm talking about the principle of it. Like, he don't know. I don't know if he know this woman personally and she got personal problems with finance. She might work for the government and got fired from a job. We just talked about that a second ago. I don't know her situation. I'm sure she knew he wanted a two stacks instead of 1 and 200 or whatever. But man, I wish somebody give me $1,235 right now. I'd be straight right now at this very moment. Are you?
Me too. I want that 1,200. Put that right in good use. But one thing I found interesting is that she came up with a rebuttal. If y'all haven't seen it, and said that the congregation was given specific instruction on where you're supposed to stand online in your donation. But I don't think if that was a man, that he would have spoken to her that way, or spoken to him that way. Let me correct myself. And those are things we got to consider, because this is not the first time that he's locked the doors of the congregation to get a specific amount of funding that he's requesting. And if we're not viewing this as a problem, as a community, then we're beholden to the problem that our community has, because our children and most other folks are laying trash on the ground and saying we live in a hood. Well, you'll never get to a community if you're laying trash on the ground, and you'll never get to a community if the pastor who's representing you as a whole is telling you that that's not good enough. You're not good enough, Pastor. Thank you. That's my thoughts.
Insane. Shout out to Sister Keisha. She said that's a credit card payment. Brother Ray and the PK History Club. Shout out to them. Also, Aunt Marie, Uncle Jeffy. Aunt Marie, get out your wallet. I got some blackmail photos. You and Aunt Pauline, blame your niece, Joanne. Not me. But you either come out the pocket, I'm putting you on blast. No, I'm just kidding. Sister Brooks says, I think he would have done that even if it wasn't me. Agree, because just like the topic we're going to talk about tonight, cultism is real. Cultism is real. And a lot of people suffer from Stockholm syndrome, including people in the church. So we're going to get into that. But Sister Aruba says, it definitely is a problem. The congregation should be protesting it. Yeah. Where the Jesus freaks at? Where y'all at? You never protest against one another when they doing bad behavior. You see, cultism is a serious thing. Uncle Jesse say drinking the Kool-Aid. Yeah. It's a serious thing. Now, we're going to play this clip, and we're going to bring in our brother Devon and Sister Brooke right after this clip, because Brother Tad, his friend, was at the African-American Day African-American Day parade meeting. Your friend was there, Brother Tad, running her lips.
Which one?
The babbler from that diaspora African meeting that we pulled up on. Hold on. Here we go. Shout out to BX the Gatekeeper for this footage.
Thank you very much. I just want to say I remember y'all.
Thank
That's
you.
what I'm saying. I remember how y'all came into the parade.
Yes, we did, but
Oh,
we
wait,
came
don't
to
worry,
an
don't worry
agreement.
about it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I just remember y'all.
Okay.
Remember, I
You
remember.
remember too. Thank you so much.
It's kind of low. Can y'all hear that?
So let's parade is about invitation only.
Yes, I hear it.
Let's move over here. Let's move over here, ma'am.
All right, she's about to come on in a minute, right now.
I felt that this year was, to me, like the best year ever in terms of having the opportunity marching with the Black Panther Party and the Black Liberation Army to finally be in the parade in a space where we had the opportunity to see the most Black people go up the line and not have sanitation sweep behind us at 5 o'clock that has happened in previous years. So I know Shep said this already, but I want to reiterate it. Thank you very much to the committee. We went up so damn fast. It was like 3:30. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was on 7th Avenue like, shit, I ain't got nothing. What the hell? So that was a great experience. And then I had the opportunity to actually enjoy the parade itself and also mix with everybody that was outside. So coming up so fast was just also a benefit in its own right. So thank you for that. The other thing that I wanted to acknowledge was, yes, the float was very well decorated. I think as usual, it's a great day of love where you really see people from 8 months to 80 plus 20 years out there. And if you can absorb that and absorb the love that is New York City, and people that's not just from New York City come from all over the place to participate, I think that is a great and beautiful, beautiful thing. I also held my own line for 3 straight years in a row called Abolition Now. It was a political group, and maybe the year before that we came up as some other mess. But for 3 years in a row, we came up as Abolition Now, right? The parade committee, not knowing me or my crew from Adam, allowed us to be in the parade, provided that we filled out the necessary documentation, met the timelines, came to the meetings, and we participated. We went up pretty hardcore all 3 of those years, seen it on Instagram. And as well, not everybody necessarily vibed to the politics that we were taking up the line. But the committee did not discriminate against us for the politics that we had, and also didn't say, oh, well, we don't like what you said, you can't come. That was not the case. We did it for 3 years in a row. I got tired, I started going with BPP. The point I'm trying to make is this. African American Day Parade, and let's fill in the blank. Whatever folks think it should be called, right? Because our DNA is self-naming and self-changing.
You still like the babble, I
We
see.
have the ability to move, change, and evolve when politically and culturally and economically expedient. We know how to do that when the time is necessary to do that. So whatever in your mind think the parade should be called, call it that in your mind. That's cool. But what it's not gonna be, and it's never gonna be, as long as I'm alive, is something that misrepresents the full body of Black people in this galaxy, okay? We are indigenous to quote unquote Americas. We are indigenous to quote unquote the motherland. We are indigenous to Mother Earth. We are indigenous to this galaxy. All right, we are Galaxians. Get with it. We started it all. I'm about to stop. But this trend that's popping now, that's living on the internet, and people trying to bring it live, and I said what I said, because this is not a second space I've been in.
Now she want to use my words.
Conversation come up, and it turns out to be a bust up. Then the following week, if you on the internet, snippets of those conversations end up on the internet for people to keep talking about it, but they only put select parts of the conversation on the internet to add on their politics, right? So what's not gonna happen, I said,
Yo, she ain't have a time limit?
but she's personally talking to me, that's why I'm not personally talking to you. I'm not personally talking to you.
She talking big and bad when no one is about the business.
Not at all. Not at all. Just more babble. She mad because she thought she could have a program and talk about FBA like we wasn't going to pull up and check that behavior. She mad because Brother Tag got the footage and we've been discussing it for 3 weeks. She mad that Pan-Africanism is dead. She's mad that she cannot be included. And this is why you can't have bi-ethnic people representing our lineage. Because according to her, she's bi-ethnic. One side being from Barbados, the other from the States. You cannot have
so she
that.
blue blood.
Whatever. This is the stuff. This is why we're delineating. This is why we're pushing for disaggregation. But Brother Divine and Sister Brooke and BX was in the room.
Good.
Without further ado, let's bring our family up on the Brooklyn Bridge. Give it up for the U.S. Freedmen's Project very own president, Brother Divine, up on the Brooklyn Bridge. What's happening, brother?
What's good, family? I felt lost last week without the bridge. Y'all made me go to the real Brooklyn Bridge and stand there on a Thursday just to feel like I was home.
Peace, Brother Divine.
Man, peace and love to the family. I appreciate you guys once again bringing us on the platform. And yeah, I'm here to chime in as soon as and whenever you need me to.
Yes, indeed. Let's get our sister Brooke, who puts foot to ass. How about that? Foot to ass when it comes to our lineage, when it comes to this reparations. Sister Brooke, evenmelanin.com, up on the Brooklyn Bridge. What's happening, sis?
Hello.
What up, Sister Brooke?
Hi, everyone. I missed you all last week. Ty.
I missed y'all too. I didn't even think I'd be able to do this week, but you know, our ancestors and God had another plan.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was like, yeah, let's get it. Let's get it.
That's right. They had another plan. So we played that clip from the meeting about the African American Day Parade. I'm gonna let y'all take it over because y'all was there. I wasn't. Let us know what that energy was like in seeing this bi-ethnic woman there again. That is Sister Brooke.
So I have audio, right? And so on the I didn't take video, but I did take audio because I forget things. And so I like to remember. So on the audio, right, you can hear me say to President Divine, this voice is familiar. And she kept talking, and I was like, I don't know who this woman. I was like, but I know this voice. I know this voice. I know this voice. And when she got to babbling, I realized, I said, Mulberry Bush. Boom, that's who she is. This is the woman who was going around and around and around the Mulberry Bush. And so Divine was like, you are right. That is her. That is her. So we already knew where she was coming from. So it didn't because honestly, we didn't remember what she looked like. Who cares? I didn't remember what she looked like. She's a non-factor. So it was that voice though from hearing her 3 weeks straight. And so when she started talking, I already, I kind of already knew what it was, but it was so much going on that day. And I'm gonna let President Divine let me know how much I should divulge, because we did not talk about that beforehand, but it was so much for me personally going on that day. So she was just another layer. So her energy was, she already knew. She thought she was gonna, she ended up making herself look dumb. Her babbling made no sense. Galaxians, shut the yo. Everybody already was looking at her like, what is you talking about? And not only that, but I want to mention this part. When she said that part about over my dead body, that sent the head, I don't want to call him Percy Earl because I don't want to be disrespectful. I hope he doesn't see that as disrespectful. I mean Percy Earl in a like you my uncle type of way, you know. And so the gentleman, and I'm putting Deacon on it to give him extra reverence. But I don't remember the gentleman's name. But I think she didn't even realize she set him off when she started telling him what it wasn't gonna be. And what she wasn't, you know what I'm saying, over her dead body and all that. Yo, Mr. Percy went off. He was like, first of all, this is about my ancestors. We built this. And so it was a definite, it let me see that sometimes if you just let people talk, they will prove your point for you. And that's what ended up, I believe that's what ended up happening at that meeting. And I'll leave it there, and I'll let President Divine let me know how much I spoke.
Sister Brooke, I want to say something before Brother Divine gets it. You know where she's from, right?
As far as she said she was from East Flatbush, I think she said. I don't know, because they had the conversation in East Flatbush, but she said her mother or her father was.
I didn't mean it that way. She's from Babylon.
Oh.
She keep babbling.
Right. Okay, I got it. Because they be calling America Babylon, so I got confused for a second. But got it, yes. Yeah. She be babbling on. And that's I'm gonna put me and Keisha's term for her together. She is the babbling mulberry bush. Like she goes around and just babbles around that mulberry bush, and I can't take it. I just want her to shut up. Okay. Yeah, so I on that note, I'll shut up.
Brother Divine, your thoughts. First, let us know what was the general consensus about possibly changing the name, and your feelings and thought of the reaction from the people who showed up at that meeting.
So I think I've said this once before, but just for the record, and hopefully, like I said, I'm not repeating myself. But a long time ago, when we first decided to start the U.S. Freedmen Project, myself and the previous president had a conversation. We came to a consensus eventually, but we had to decide who we were going to be in this movement. Were we going to be the disruptors that largely operate outside the room, or were we going to do everything we could, despite how we felt, to make sure that we were the adults in the room to move the movement forward in that way? Because both are necessary. So I want to be clear. Both entities and both energies are essential, but most times you cannot be both. And so we long decided that we were going to work the insides of the room, obviously turning up when and where it's necessary, with some levels of composure. So we went into the room and we went into that meeting looking to meet the people where they were at, looking to find out what level of knowledge they had on this subject and on this topic. And the initial pushback was that they, under no circumstances, were going to change the name of the parade. Now, this is before, this is after she I'm trying to think of the order, but sometime during the meeting, maybe after she spoke, and before I got a chance to speak, that was kind of the consensus based on some of the conjecture that was going on around the room. But what we have to understand, and I think you guys know better than most, you, Brother Tad, well, all four of you, Brother Black and Sister Marcia, even though I don't know their resumes as well as I know yours, Keisha, as we've been working together, we are on the cutting edge of this movement with the information and knowledge that we possess. And so when you begin to understand that, and I had to understand that, by trial and error, going into these rooms and having conversations and speaking, and this is not to big myself up or belittle anybody else, but I found myself having conversations that were going over the heads of our people. And I just couldn't understand what was happening at the time until I realized, this is the first time ever that we have been this on code to create a movement based on our lineage, based on our genealogy, based on our ethnic group, without centering any other ideology or religion. And so it's a foreign conversation to even those that want to be a part of what we have going on. And so even though the initial, and I'll take a breath after this, even though the initial sentiment was, under no circumstance are we changing the name of the parade, that sentiment was the initial sentiment, because prior to us entering the room and being able to have the conversation, despite what Miss Mulberry said, they believed that African American was solely for our ancestors. So that's why they didn't want to change the name. And so when you go in and that becomes a level of disconnect, if you don't know how to listen to what's actually being said, that's where most of the fight was happening in the room before we got a chance to get down to the nitty and the gritty. Like, we know that African American is not just for our ancestors, and everybody on the board thought that it was. And so that was the disconnect that we had. And again, I'll say this before I take this breath I promise to take. The Pan-African Galaxian, what she didn't know that she did unintentionally, like Sister Brooke just said, is that she galvanized the movement and helped lead it forward. Because the more she talked and she convoluted African American and made it everything under the sun, melanated by the sun, they were like, no, hold on, I don't know what you're talking about. And what do you mean by that? And what do you mean by galaxy? And what do you mean by indigenous to the earth and to Africa when we're talking about African Americans, and that's the people in America? So she didn't even realize that her attempt to head us off at the pass and sabotage what we're trying to do in true form, regardless of whatever religion you believe in, all things, will work together for the good of my people. She didn't know that she was on our side. She was trying to not be on our side.
Brother, were you finished, by the way? I don't want to cut your wisdom. Okay.
Yep. No.
I want to ask the whole panel question. Is it what, from where I'm looking at this, what makes this whole dynamic difficult on the part of FBA is you got a lot of FBA people who don't necessarily buy into it. And because of the delineation, it's causing fissures in the FBA, Pan-African, and whatever else ideology you believe in. What percentage of FBA, ADOS, whichever label you choose to use at this point for this conversation, what percentage of strictly African Americans do you believe in the ideology of FBA for the purpose of reparations and delineating for that? Just that. I think it's low. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I wanted to answer that.
Michigan, I know you said this for the whole panel. Here's what I will say. FBA is not an ideology. FBA is a lineage. And so when I cannot give a percentage because I have not spoken to everybody, but here's what I'll say from my anecdotal advocacy in the community in multiple states and in New York, inside the 5 boroughs and outside the 5 boroughs. There is not one Black American that I've ever spoken to that disagrees that we are a distinct ethnic group that deserves a term that's for us and only us. Not one. Except until we get into the differentiating or the differing ideologies. Now, almost 100% of the Pan-African Foundation of Black Americans disagree or push back, not because they don't know we're a distinct ethnic group, but they know that us being a distinct ethnic groups starts to erode at their ideology that they've built their entire identity on. And that is the crux of the entire conversation. Us being a distinct people group is not up for debate. Them trying to hold on to their ideology while trying to kind of wrestle with us becoming our own ethnic group and advocating for our ethnic group, that's where the rub is.
Perfectly
And I will add on, Brother Divine,
Appreciate that.
it's not us becoming, it's we are, and we're acknowledging and removing Africa off the pedestal of where we belong. Sister Keisha and myself years ago, and I always revert back to this, years ago, we've always been on this type of time, but we wasn't calling it FBA, we wasn't calling it ADOS. We was just telling folks, acknowledge your own lineage. Because as Pan-Africans, every time we opened or closed the ceremony, we always pay libation to African ancestors, then the ancestors that's popular, and only then were we told, all right, shout out your direct ancestors. Shout out this one, shout out your grandmother, shout out your mother, shout out. But, right? All good. Going with the program. I'm Pan-African. This is how the show goes. This is the script. Let's do it. But in honoring my ancestors, I remember what my grandmother said. I remember my great grandmothers and what they said. And they would always say, we're not African. And me thinking I was smarter than my elders, I would argue with them. Not based on lineage and bloodline, but what books I read and what Dr. Such and Such said and what Malcolm said. And none of these people I was quoting had my bloodline. My mother knows who her mother is. Her mother knows who her mother is. I knew my great grandmother. She knew her mother and her grandmother. That's why on Facebook, I kept posting pictures of my ancestry, asking, are these Africans? And people was in a tissy fit because we don't have enough information. No, based on what you know or what you think you know about Africa, is this an African? Because if you say yes, then are we subscribing by the one drop rule? And again, then you got to unpack the layers of what race is in America, who qualifies for race, how has it played out in the court systems of America, when was whiteness created, when was blackness created, because people keep saying, we've been calling ourselves black back in Africa. That's not true, because black is an English word, and I don't think people were speaking English in Africa of antiquity. So it's a contradiction in itself right there. Part one. Part two, racism comes out of Europe from Johann Friedrich Blumenbach and Karl Linnaeus. You can look it up. We talked about this 2 weeks ago on the show. So this is the rhetoric that goes into Pan-Africanism that we've all adopted. And I always like to think I'm qualified to speak on it, since me and Sister Keisha, since we sat at the feet of leading Pan-African scholars and teachers, were part of Pan-African organizations and did the work in terms of traveling to the continent and the diaspora. We've done that, and it always brought us back home. So how does that work? And people can't, like, ideology is one thing, because when you ask a Pan-African, what is the goal? They keep saying to liberate Africa, to liberate Africa. Then why are Africans leaving Africa in modern day times? And why did they leave Africa in the times of antiquity? We have to stop. This all becomes rhetoric. And I'm going to pass the mic, but I'm going to say this. Many of the scholars and the teachers are from a different paradigm. They're from a different time zone. You know what I mean? Dr. Clark was a child in the Jim Crow era. So the information that he got, as great as it was, and this is not to diminish anything from Dr. Clark, they had to grab an identity because they were victims of the erasure by Walter Plecker. They were the victims, and certain things weren't allowed to be spoken upon. Plus, the education they got was from the Eurocentric group. Black schools were being closed down. So the knowledge has changed. Like right now, it's changing for us with AI, how we could get all sorts of information at the drop of a dime. Their paradigm was different than ours, because many of them couldn't just go to Africa if they wanted shit. They needed the Green Book just to go to another state. You needed the Green Book just to know where not to go. Don't take your... So our experiences were limited on how other people operate and think, as well as our travel was limited. But now any one of us could book a flight. I remember my first Haitian friend, I thought she was from Jamaica. So I kept calling her Jamaican. She's like, I'm not Jamaican, I'm Haitian. I said, ain't that in Jamaica? Because every Caribbean that had an accent, I thought was just Jamaican. That's all I knew. That's all many Black Americans knew. When my mother got with her husband, who was a Panamanian, first thing my father family said, so I hear your mother got with a Jamaican. Nah, he Panamanian. Same shit. Because we didn't know. We didn't have much interaction with other people from different diasporas and continents. And once we did, we realized all of these Black people look like us, but they identify differently. They express themselves differently. A Haitian is not a Jamaican. A Jamaican is not a Trinidadian. But now that we know these things, we're not going to sweep our lineage and bloodline and experience under the rug just to make other people more comfortable and get homogenized in this African identity that nobody else has to hold on to but Black Americans. And with that, I'm off my soapbox.
Love it. Love it.
Peace for the Tad.
No doubt. Appreciate you.
As we mentioned before, we've been through it. We've been through this whole thing. Going back to the 80s, we've been through this whole thing. And we saw a lot of the BS, you know.
But we kept quiet.
You know, and one of the
things, trying to preserve the integrity of the movement and the ideology. We were very quiet. I didn't tell people and not to cut you off, sis, I didn't tell people my experiences on the continent in an effort not to discourage people from making that pilgrimage, I used to like to call it, you know. And I still encourage people, if you only go one time, just go for the experience. Have your own experience, because everybody perceives it different. Me, I've been there 4 times. And in 2019, I said it's going to be a while before I go back. And lo and behold, 2020, COVID came, so nobody was going nowhere anyway. But yeah, I've had some not so stellar experiences as well.
And I'm glad more Black Americans are telling that story about their experiences when they travel to the continent. Khalees, right? Musician, artist Khalees.
Okay.
Nas' ex-wife, yes. She resides in Kenya, and she talks about her horrible experience, the scamming, you know, the roads, you know.
The road. Let's talk about the road.
Go ahead, Sister Marcia.
The roads, I don't care what foreign country you're coming from. I tell you, if you're a foreigner, you come to this land, you see, or Europe and stuff like that, you see nice paved roads and stuff like that. But go up in the countries. You could go up in the countries here in America. You don't have road issues. You go up in the countries, you're off of a cliff driving. Here's your car, here's the cliff. You know, one tire here and the other 3 are flying, and you're just like, oh my God, get me out of this place. I think we've so often been disillusioned. People from the diaspora, they come back with these miracle stories, but yet their family left this island or this country, this landmass to come to America. We never have that conversation. You don't have that conversation, right? And so now you're here and you're on smooth roads, right? And you go to this foreign land, majority of the time, these people are financing this trip of extravaganza on a credit card. Those people don't know those things. Those people don't have those levels of debt. But you won't have a real conversation about your experience here and what's happening there, unless we bridge that gap of having real conversation. There's too many illusional conversation that's happening, and that is what's killing us as a mass of people.
Love it. Let's play this clip of Khalees talking about her experience living in Kenya. Here we go.
Okay, so 3 cons: the roads, some of the potholes are like literally they will take your car apart. And they have these speed bumps. You know, like in the States, the speed bumps, like they give you a warning. These speed bumps are in the dark, they're not marked, and you will like hit a bump and leave your soul like behind you. So the roads are definitely takes a little getting used to. And the drainage system is not working, so when it rains, it floods. Also, the trash, the waste management here is trash. Like it's absolutely awful. It doesn't exist. The other big con for me is like shipping, importing. If you want to live like an American here, it's definitely going to cost you like triple the price. Or anything imported, not just American but European, anything that's brought into the country is they're gonna jack you. The last con I would say, oh god, the car situation here is an absolute nightmare. I have never seen such a bad car situation. First of all, they say if it's not used here in Kenya that it's like new. That makes no sense. So it could be like 20 years old in another country, probably Japan, which means that all of your digital stuff is going to be in Japanese, which is very annoying and no one knows how to change it. They'll still charge, they'll be like, oh, but that's $65,000. I'm like, USD? And they're like, yes, that's a good price. No, it's not. So a lot of times when I see videos of people talking about like how cheap it is to live here, I think you can do things cheap and there are things that are definitely cheaper. But I think if you're coming here thinking like you're going to live like an American, that's like definitely triple the price. So just bear that in mind.
You know, sis, I want to say something because she definitely hit on some dope points. Because I could speak about Ghana. You know, our money depends on the year. Sometimes it's 5 times their dollars, sometimes it's 10. But you can live cheap and you get what you pay for. Because like she said, and it messed me up. In the middle of a highway, you do got speed bumps. I'm like, on highways, and it's hardly any post that let you know you're about to hit a speed bump. So you're going to be up in the air. That's real talk. But it is inexpensive. However, you get what you pay for. Because if you want the things you're accustomed to, you're going to have to pay. And my whole thing is like, why would you go somewhere else to live in abject poverty? You might as well just stay here and move to Brownsville or something if that's what you want to do. Because I thought the whole thing was to progress and live a better life. So she definitely hit some things on her head. Because you can get your colognes, you can get your Samsung, you get Jordans, you get all that. All that is in Africa. Make no mistake. You get a BMW, a Mercedes, all that is there, but you're gonna pay, and you're gonna pay imported price.
It's a jacked up price.
It's on top of scamming because it's the same in Jamaica. Go ahead.
Right. And the thing is, half of those things that you're buying in a retail store in these countries are secondhand goods that they polish up real good. If it's a cologne that you're buying, best to believe they put more alcohol in it. They get the little fragrance samples. I'm sorry to talk about people like this, but this is what they do.
Right,
they get the
because I saw the Canal Street Polo in the stores.
They get the fake fragrance samples and a bigger bottle and dilute it down. So they'll put 3 fragrance samples, more alcohol. There you go. And there's something about being in a foreign land. There's something about the air in a foreign land that when you're smelling the stuff, you're like, oh my God. And maybe it's the air that's over there, but you're like, damn, that smells nice and fresh. But when you come here and you spray it, you're like, why does it smell like alcohol? So there's definitely a huge difference. And it's about the fact that we are not having real conversations with people. And even in the Caribbeans, they are not having real conversations. The Caribbeans has a pool of migrant workers. The islanders have migrated throughout many islands, and there's not that conversation about it. So again, more disillusion. So when Mulberry Bush is talking, she has no idea that her ancestry could be from another island who migrated into this island. From that island that arrived here. And now you're talking like, I know this and I know that. You know nada. And especially coming out of people as a first generation who are very secretive, who don't tell the real story. You are lost in your identity. You have great identity crisis here in America. And You want to fit in, and this is where I was, and I'm going to wrap this up with this blue blood thing, blue vein thing, because the blue veins were able to project themselves as different Black people or Africans in America, and everybody tend to listen to them more than they listen to everyone else at a particular time. This is the same thing that's happening now. And Sister Mulberry Bush, whatever your name is, we are not listening to you. The community understands the propaganda now, and you need to listen to people that have real knowledge about the land that they're from, because they can trace it for 300 years. Go trace us for 300 years from whatever island you say your people came from.
And more.
Yeah.
Right. No, but I'm just saying that 300 is the pinnacle number. Once you could reach that 300, this is what
The Marcia, you glitch.
listen, I can't do anything about the glitch. But this is what people who, Black folks, African folks, foundational Americans can do. They can say, hey, I can tell you my people for 300 years.
Yep.
Tell me yours. And when we can have real conversations like that, then we're moving places, we're moving the needle, but we keep getting stuck. And as a Pan-African, I definitely see my people always get stuck on, well, I arrived here now, and this is the now that I'm talking about. Or I was born here, and this is the time period that I'm talking about. But you are here, and you have to reference yourself to where you were, where your people were 300 years ago, to understand the conversation, because you are foundational. You're foundational to whatever land your peoples came from. And that's where your fight is. And you're supposed to support fighters where fighters are fighting. But
there you go.
I pause.
Can I piggyback on that? I'm sorry, go ahead, Brother Black.
Yeah, real quick, Brother Divine. This is the case, and speaking as a offspring of parents who weren't born in this country. My parents came here young, but old enough to have their own identity from where they're from. They bring, along with the good part of that, they bring their insecurities as well. So they raised me to be like, you're from here and you're not from there. And well, my father, for the most part, not my mother so much. My mother loved you if you were a good person. That was it. She didn't care what you was affiliated with. But the point I'm making when I say all this is that, so now I get this, and I'm going there every summer, like some of y'all go to South, North Carolina, or Virginia, or Georgia, or wherever your grandparents may be. I used to go to Honduras every summer. So I have that part of me as well. And what's going to wind up happening is my children and people from my generation usually deal with somebody who ain't from the country, because that's not the majority of the people we growing up around. So we wind up getting with somebody, could be from the Caribbean, could be African. I got family from all over the world. In fact, when I lived in Ghana, I was staying in one of my uncle's houses over there. He's African, he's Ghanaian, straight up 100%, the first time. And with that said, what I'm saying to you is, it's gonna slowly come down to us just melding and being one people under realness. Forget about the delineation that we spiritual.
I disagree, sir.
Okay,
I disagree, sir.
I'm gonna hear you out.
This is why on this land we must speak for ourselves. And that has always been the problem, trying to melt everything and merge everything together. That has been a critical problem. And that's why you have all of these different caucuses, coalitions, set asides for all of these other groups that we can't participate in because of such an ideal. And that's why some people may say this is a movement. It's not a movement. It's an awakening. It's a lineage recognition. That's what people don't understand. And I keep telling y'all, either you get on the right side or you're going to be run over. You just had artist Monaleo try to merge stuff together with her song. She is getting reamed on social media platforms right now. Her and her Nigerian manager. after even calling us akatas for years. You
The
see?
receipts is
So
coming out.
a lot of stuff is being called to the floor right now, and people can't take it. So there will not be an emerging anymore. That's the thing. And I'm gonna yield and I'm gonna let Brother Divine speak, and then we're gonna move on. Go ahead, Brother Divine.
Sister Brooke wanted to get in there.
Yeah.
Sister Brooke wanted.
After Divine, I'll let
Go ahead.
Before Brooke goes in on that though, because I just want to talk to what was past said, and then she could take over the Mauna Leo stuff. So just to, if you guys, and you know, we are of the, I know you guys are our OGs, but you know, I feel like I'm old too. So we come from that time where the diaspora used to shame us and talk about how much we did not travel, right? And so I happen to be one of the foundational Black Americans that has been blessed, that has gone to multiple countries throughout my life. You know, had to replace passports multiple times from being overflowed with stamps. And I'm not saying that to impress you or press anybody, but to impress upon you this talking point that takes away. And, you know, when you hear the people, like, you know, the various people that joke about it, you know, it's called the Princess Zamunda hustle, right? And so what you guys have explained with Brother Tag going to the continent and Sister Marcia talking about what goes on in the Caribbean. Sorry about that, I got a phone call. What we find is that most of, if not all of, their existence that they then try to portray and portray to us, most of it are lies, scams, and a combination of the two, right? And so what you find is that there is a level of honor that is bestowed upon them culturally if they were able to get over on somebody. Because it's so bad, it's like if you found a way out of their way out of no way is to scam the next person. Whereas our culture, our way out of no way is something that either God or the ancestors, whatever you believe, have helped you either procure or helped you find your way through. And that's one of the biggest things that kind of separates us. And because they are so used to lying about the conditions back home, what it's really like on the ground, how they really interact with each other, how bad tribalism is, they then try to impart that on us, and we push back because that has never been something that we have honored culturally. No matter if you a street dude to the square, we all had that one grandmother or grandfather that would get on our ass, even if it was justified that we treated somebody some kind of way. They were going to get on us like Jesus did when he in the temple and flipped those tables on the Pharisees. They would always come to us and make sure we had our moral center aligned. Like, no, you don't do that, baby. You don't do that, sugar. That's not how you do it. God don't like ugly. You understand? Like, these are our Black American proverbs. And so they don't have those in their culture. And so what has happened is that not only is this an awakening, like Sister Keisha said, and, you know, I've called it a renaissance, what we've also seen is that it's the great exposure. Because us standing on our square exposes the square that they told us they stand on. And Pan-Africanism has enabled them to be able to have these dual allegiances and to kind of create this patchwork of I'm part you and I'm part me. Because the reason why we need to have a term, and this needs to be said for the record, we didn't come up with foundational Black American or whatever delineated term that you choose, that you like for our health. It was necessary because when we were Black, they came over and adopted Black. When we were African American, they said, well, I'm African or of African descent in America. Now I'm African American. And then the government helped them in 1997 by making the official definition. And even when we moved towards saying, hey, well, I'm Black American, they then said, I'm racially Black and I was born in America, or I live in America. So I'm Black American too, in addition to being Jamaican American, Haitian American, Nigerian American, Ghanaian American, etc. So this was not something that we wanted to do for our health. It was necessary because every move we made, they moved to co-opt, while also delineating from us in the process, unbeknownst to us the entire time. And so this is what makes this pushback so disingenuous and so nefarious, because they already know that we're not the same. But they know once we know that we're not the same, the gravy train grinds to a halt. And they're not ready to give it up. But they don't have a choice in the matter because we have always been in charge. We just kind of let, that's another thing. Again, going back to our moral sense, and I take a breath here. We were always taught we don't punch down. You don't make fun of the less fortunate than you. That's just something you didn't do. And most of our households, they found out you was doing that, there was hell to pay. And so when they started coming over in smaller numbers, because they didn't have the ethnic enclaves at first, they was talking spicy. That trope about us being lazy and baby mamas and drug addicts, that has been going on for decades. So when they try to pretend that the xenophobia is only happening now, no, they came over with the xenophobia. But they were the less fortunate that we did not want to punch down on. But what happened is, while we were not punching down on them, they were secretly building up enclaves of power that they're now using against us in present day, because we never fought them back. We just said, okay, cool, we understand there's a lot for you to learn, or we're going to help you learn, blah, 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 blah. And now, only now, are we like, okay, now we got to regulate. And we're coming for all enclaves of power. We're coming for all disrespect, because unfortunately the pendulum has swung from the we lazy and we don't know how to take advantage of opportunity to now it's like, all right, cool, now it's up and it's stuck. And it's just is what it is.
We need a flex bomb for that. We need a flex bomb for that right there. There we go.
Now you got to drop it a little louder than that. Just not.
That's all right.
Too funny.
But what I wanted to add to this equation was this, Sister Keisha in particular. When I say what I said, I'm speaking from my purview of my perspective of who I am as a person. And we've known each other long enough for you, I believe, to believe that, I'm who I say I am when I'm saying this. When I say that, I'm not talking about in regards to us getting reparations and all the benefits that FBA should have. I'm saying in other words, let's say I married another FBA woman, and I'm who I am to who y'all know me to be, and I'm like that 10 years from now, and she get a grip. I'm not supposed to get hit off. I'm with this. I'm not against it. I'm speaking from my perspective.
No,
in that regard, you can see me differently.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Because, and that's been the problem. There's been a lot of leaning, and this is what I say. What I say.
I'm about to say, Sister Keisha's talking about them leaning again.
If we give reparations tomorrow, that ain't got nothing to do with Mr. Forrester. Not one damn cent. Not one damn cent is to go to him. If I die the evening, it will go to my children and my grandchildren, nieces and nephews. Exactly. CARICOM is fighting for them. And if they don't like what CARICOM is doing, then they got to get involved with that. Right. They got to get involved with that. And see, that's the thing too. Hold on. Even with the fight with CARICOM, where's the pushback from the diaspora? Where your pushback at? You got all this energy for us, but you ain't doing shit over there. Enough. And let me tell you something. Let me mention Tariq Nasheed, because, and then we're going to play a clip, We're gonna post, share a post that Tad made. People say that he's a leader in FBA. He ain't no damn leader. The leader is our code. The leader is our lineage. He just has a bigger platform than all of us combined. In fact, in the last month, he's been on TikTok and he has taken over TikTok.
Mhm.
FBA lineage is the algorithm on TikTok.
Word.
From X to TikTok, FBA is the algorithm.
We're the culture.
Nothing else. And I'm not talking 100, couple of hundred, thousands from the diaspora have been spewing venom our way. And like Brother Devon said, everything is coming to fore right now. See what you felt? Now social media puts a battery in these people's back. They are always in our spaces, interjecting. Even though those who like Brother Black, who agree with us, we tell them, go to your spaces and talk to your people. We good over here. I have never seen a togetherness of foundational Black Americans like I'm seeing right now.
Since the beating of Rodney King.
Say that again, brother.
I said, since the beating of Rodney King, we ain't been like this.
We on cold, heavy. But again, where are the Pan-Africanists talking to them about that venom? Where are the Pan-Africanists putting foot to ass to these African countries, Caribbean and South American countries who haven't done a goddamn thing, not only for their people, but for us? No, moment's the word. They are always interjecting. And now they get into their feelings. And this is why I say it's a cult. They suffer from Stockholm syndrome. You see, a belief in your mind is more powerful than a lineage. That's insane.
Word.
I sleep and I married a Jamaican. I am not Jamaican. I don't put on no pretend accent. When I go over there, real talk, they call me Brooklyn. What's up, Brooklyn? What, Brooklyn? They call me Brooklyn. I don't pretend to be nothing. I am what I am. I don't interject in their politics. And I've been over there more than 20 times. Certain parishes, I know better than he does. He will tell you that. I get on a bus. I travel by bus when I'm out there. You see? Because I know the terrain. I'm on the block. Not at the resort, on the block. I got video I can show you. So again, I don't interject into their politics. It's not my business. Even though I think it's a bunch of BS. It's not my business. When I'm in the Free Haiti movement, getting information from them, mom is the word. I just get the information. Unless I'm asked the question. You see what I'm saying? We don't do that. You can't find no Black American, like I said before, who left this country, moved to another country, live in that other country, interject themselves into the politics of the people of that nation. We are special people, and they can't take it. But Tariq Nasheed has literally broken the internet, especially if you're in these TikTok spaces. In a matter of minutes, you got over 1,000 people in the room. Am I right, Sister Brooke? In a matter of minutes, they can't help themselves. They can't help themselves. They call him a leader. Now, when he came out with the Hidden Color series, 1804 movie, everybody was rocking with him, having watch parties and all that. Now that he's standing firm on his lineage, oh, he's divisive. He's a CIA op. This is the ridiculousness. But you'll stand in your Pan-African community with folks like Umar won't say a goddamn word. With folks like Polite won't say a goddamn word. Somebody came in a space today on my way home from the city talking about Garvey, uphailing Garvey about, the things he did with the UNIA. Everything he did, he copied from Booker T. He was in awe of us when he got here. You don't talk about how that man betrayed his first wife. You don't talk about that bad behavior. Or how his son married
because they all have that bad behavior.
Nobody talks about that. You keep your mouth shut. As Sister Marcia said, they all got that bad behavior. Some of your great so-and-sos. Please don't let me read folks' resumes out here. Slut-like behavior. Looking for a come up. Always got. Let me go on. But we got to move on. I can go deep. But Pan-Africanism is an ideology. It's not a lineage, nor is it a movement, because you are stagnant. What tangibles have you produced? Nada. Nada. Now, you may have done some things here or there, but where are the tangibles for us in particular, or the diaspora? I'll wait. Where are the Africans in this fight? Right now, Haiti is going through a humanitarian crisis. Where the hell is Africa at? Where they at? You got 54 nations.
Kenya's working with the U.S. government against Haiti.
That part. You just had in Nigeria 7,000 people who were unalived, set on fire by Muslims. Those 7,000 people were Christians. Ghanaians is trying to kick Nigerians out. You got people in Dominican Republic who are going in on people from Haiti when they move next door. That's really their land.
Every Caribbean island is kicking out Haitians. Every single one.
Barbados too. Bahamas too.
Yes.
Every single one.
And for the same reason, right? Because they're all at the behest of American politics or Western dollars. So whatever the Western dollars say to do in order for their country to benefit, they will do. And the DR is most disgusting because we do not remember the name of Haiti. Haiti's name is Haiti Quisqueya Boyo, not Hispaniola, not Haiti and the Dominican Republic. The name of the island is Haiti Quisqueya Boyo. And this is why I'll refer back to the 300 years, because in those 300 years, you can find a Taino relative. You can find an indigenous person as your lineage base. But right now, nobody wants to do that. They want to be, I'm Dominicano and me no black, and I'm maybe Haitian. And so again, most likely, as a Haitian, you'll be Jamaican more.
So again, everybody's on our back when the diaspora is divisive within itself. But because we stand firm on a lineage, not being divisive, I read with anybody. Sister Marcia is Pan-Africanist. That's my sis. Brother Black,
he's from the Bronx.
He's from the Bronx. And y'all know I don't fuck with the Bronx. Except for BX. Shout out to her in the chat. But I rocks. You see? But because we stand on it's rubbing people the wrong way. That's why I say the code is the leader. I'm going to show y'all why Pan-Africanism is a goddamn cult. Why you don't check your own selves? You never have. Where is the protest against these 54 nations that don't do a goddamn thing for none of us? You have nothing to say, but you walk around with dusty dashikis and outfits look like you in the 1790s, looking ridiculous, wearing costumes. I was never into that BS. I'm not wearing no damn costume. I'm from the Brook. Period. But let's play this clip. Then we'll come right back and we'll discuss. Hold on.
Can Stockholm Syndrome occur in cults? Have you ever wondered how someone can develop feelings for their captor? This phenomenon is known as Stockholm Syndrome, and it can indeed occur in cults. Stockholm Syndrome refers to a psychological response where individuals form emotional bonds with their captors or abusers. This response often happens in situations of captivity or abuse, but it is not limited to hostage scenarios. It can also be seen in cults, abusive relationships, and human trafficking situations. In cults, charismatic leaders often employ manipulation and psychological control to dominate their followers. They create an environment of isolation and dependency, which can make followers feel trapped both physically and emotionally. Over time, these individuals may develop a strong sense of loyalty or even affection toward the leader. This bond can form because followers see the leader as a source of safety or meaning, even if the leader's actions are harmful. Several psychological mechanisms help explain how Stockholm Syndrome manifests in cults. One such mechanism is identification with the aggressor. Followers may adopt the leader's perspective and values to align themselves with what they perceive as a protector. This helps them cope with the stress of their situation. Another mechanism is cognitive dissonance. Followers often experience conflicting emotions, such as fear and anger mixed with attachment or sympathy. They struggle to reconcile the leader's abusive behavior with any kindness or promises they receive. This internal conflict can make it hard for them to see the leader as harmful. Trauma bonding is another key factor. The cycle of abuse, combined with intermittent positive reinforcement, strengthens emotional ties. This makes it difficult for followers to leave or recognize the leader's harmful nature. These dynamics are often depicted in psychological drama films. Such films explore the complex emotional and psychological interplay between captors and captives. They highlight the tension between fear, dependency, and misplaced loyalty. This portrayal helps viewers understand how victims can become emotionally entangled with their abusers in cult settings. Understanding Stockholm Syndrome in the context of cults reveals why individuals may remain loyal to harmful groups. It also explains why leaving such environments can be a significant psychological challenge. This knowledge provides a framework for depicting intense emotional struggles in drama movies, where character development often revolves around themes of captivity, identity, and survival within oppressive relationships. Can Stockholm Syndrome explain some aspects of cult indoctrination? Have you ever wondered how people can become so devoted to a group that seems to manipulate them? This brings us to the question, can Stockholm Syndrome explain some aspects of cult indoctrination? To understand this, we need to look at both concepts closely. Stockholm Syndrome is a psychological response where individuals develop a bond with their captors during captivity. This bond often forms as a survival mechanism. It is not just limited to hostage situations. In cults, members may experience a similar bond with their charismatic leaders. This connection can lead to intense loyalty, even in the face of harmful actions from the leader. Cults use various tactics to recruit and keep members. These methods often include isolation from outside influences, emotional manipulation, and creating a sense of dependency. When individuals are cut off from their usual support systems, they may feel trapped. This can lead to a psychological state similar to captivity, where loyalty to the leader becomes a way to cope with stress and fear. One key psychological mechanism at play is identification with the aggressor. Members may start to see the world through the leader's perspective. By aligning themselves with the leader, they believe they are securing their safety. This identification can create strong emotional bonds that make it difficult for members to leave the group. Cognitive dissonance also plays a role. Members might feel conflicting emotions about their leader. They may love and admire them while also feeling fear or anger due to the leader's harmful actions. This conflict can lead to a cycle where members justify the leader's behavior, further deepening their loyalty. In practical terms, we can see Stockholm Syndrome-like behaviors in cults. Members often show unwavering devotion to their leaders, even when faced with clear evidence of manipulation. This loyalty can override rational thinking, leading individuals to participate in activities they would normally reject. From an anthropological perspective, cults can be viewed as social groups with their own cultural norms. The psychological manipulation used by these groups helps maintain control over their members. Understanding these dynamics is essential for grasping why individuals might stay in cults despite the risks involved. While Stockholm Syndrome is primarily associated with hostage situations, its principles can help explain some aspects of cult indoctrination. Both involve psychological manipulation and the formation of strong emotional bonds between individuals and those in power. Recognizing these patterns can provide a clearer view of the complex social dynamics at play in cults.
Like I said, it's a cult. It's a cult.
Yeah. Sister, you know we know.
Go ahead, Brother Tad, because I'm going to pull up on your post.
I was laughing because I was thinking about people who were in the former cults. Case in point, when we was in one group that folks was trying to turn into a cult, I won't say leadership was turning the movement into a cult, but the followers were turning into a cult. And when there was a little discrepancy, people were like, why is New York being so silent? Ain't our politic. We ain't got a nickel in that quarter. And we march to the beat of our own drum. Like I keep telling people, sis, you and I don't have backstage conversations. We just always lock in step when we pivot. It's like you researching one thing, I'm researching, and we always come to the same consensus. And I mean, it's in divine order. You know what I mean? But there were people, one of the sisters deleted me because I didn't support Dr. Sukiana because I was like, yo, I'm tired of Umar. Like, I'm not, well, you got to give a brother a chance. I said, yo, after 10 years, how much more chances you need? And I was done with him back in 2018, 2019. I was just silent about it. Because again, when you're in this movement, certain things you can't say, even if it's your own independent thought, because now you're viewed as a traitor, you're not sincere, you're not strong, you're not a warrior. And it's by a bunch of cowards. Truth be told, just because you loud don't make you right. And that's what I realized in the movement. A lot of people don't have independent thoughts because the first thing they want to know, what does the leader have to say? What does the teacher have to say? What do you have to say? It's your life. You're really handing over your life to somebody else. I keep telling people, I'm not trading in one form of oppression for another. I've always been my own man. When I was in the streets, when I was in these movements, when I was in these organizations, I've always been my own man, and I pride myself on that. And I instruct my children to do the same. I tell them as their father, only thing I'll ever want them to do is pick a direction for their life to go and be the best at living your life. Regardless to what I say, regardless to what your mother say, I want you to do what's in your best interest. That's it. But when you join these organizations / groups / movements / cults, you'll start seeing just what we saw, cognitive dissonance. Yeah, I see you brought up this post. I have a serious question. Is Black synonymous with African? In addition, what does it mean to be Black and who is Black? As I stated at the top of the show, we know that this system yeah, go through the comments.
That's what I'm about to say, brother. We got to go through the comments. I'm going to show you where the Stockholm Syndrome of Pan-Africanism comes into play here. And Brother Black was like, I'm saying, I'm just here for the comments. Black was like, get in there and give an answer.
Yeah, Black star in trouble with Sister Keisha.
I'm here for the comments.
Black is a troublemaker.
He is.
Hey, I was
But
the
now
dudes on Do the Right Thing that kept trying to get everybody to fight.
bugging out. That's you. That was his name, bugging out. Yo, shout out to that actor too. What's our brother name? Giancarlo Esposito. Giancarlo Esposito. That's his name. Shout out to him. He's a dope actor. But look, shout out and
So
I want the audience to know.
Go ahead.
I just want the audience to know that these are quality, qualified speakers. Our brother Salim Adolfo, shout out to him in DC. I forget what position he holds, but he holds office in DC. Samuel O. Olaripe, I think I'm pronouncing it right. He was on a couple of the documentaries produced by Jason Black. A young brother, YG Preach from the West Coast, have done so much dope stuff with so many artists like Bosco, Young Dolph. He's done tons of videos, and he shot a lot of Pan-African footage that's out there. Our brother Hamza Abdul Mamet, he's a community organizer right here in Brooklyn. Our brother Jay Black did a lot of video shoots for the Pan-African communities, but you have to go through the comments because everybody got a different definition on what blackness is. And some people realize that just because you're black, you're not an African. And some people are saying you can't be black without being African, without acknowledging that black and white in all of these colors is a social construct that's created by the oppressor.
It also revealed that a lot who we thought was FBA ain't.
Yes, that too. That too. A lot of people are claiming FBA are not FBA, then flip flop. I tell you, man, it's a lot going on. But sis, shout out to our brother Thorough King. He's FBA. He had a podcast called Feel African Refuge, and I mean, a brother asked me the other day, right, Sister Keisha, why is everybody so anti-Pan-African now? What happened? I said, brother, you have to ask yourself. Everybody who's anti-Pan-African in this position were once Pan-African. You have to ask, why is everybody leaving Pan-Africanism? It's not like people who weren't Pan-African are talking against Pan-African. It's the Pan-Africans are speaking against Pan-African because we understand what has happened and we were denied our own particular identity as FBA. But because by all intents and purposes, Pan-Africanism is an ideology. So FBA is Black America. Is Black America not part of the diaspora? But again, they want us homogenized because it fits the rhetoric of Black Americans not having no culture, of us not having anything of value, which we know is not true. But when you're under that Pan-African spell, sometimes you subscribe to that. You subscribe that your people didn't really do nothing, despite all the inventions we made that the world benefits from. Despite all the entertainment and music, the inventions, whether it was the sister working with NASA to calculate how to get the satellites to orbit the planet, whether you're talking about Charles Drew, whether you're talking about Lewis Latimer, people will reduce our culture to just entertainment and sports, and we're so much more than that. We're some of the greatest thinkers. Come on, what's our brother name? His name is on the tip of my tongue. The Almanac, and created DC. Benjamin Banneker. Thank you, because there's so many Black names swirling through my head right now. So much of what we contributed to the world, but it gets minimized under the auspices of being Africans. And Africans have done the greatest things in the world. We did some things. That's a little footnote in history, but to be African is to be everything. And this is not to minimize Africa. This is not to knock nobody on the diaspora. But I'm not going to minimize myself when I know who I am. And I know most of these people we talking about is cosplaying me. And I put that on my mama, God bless her soul. Look at my ancestry. I asked, was this lady, okay, blow her picture up, the first one. That is my great-grandmother's grandmother. Her name is Grandma Lou. Now, is that an African was the question. Is that woman an African? Of course not. And if you say she is, you must be subscribing to the one drop rule that's created by white folks and trying to preserve. And she's not a white woman either. You can look at her hands and tell she's not a white woman. She's indigenous. She's registered as a Native American. But people, and bring up the family, Sister Keisha, because that's still her in the middle. Just to add context. Those are her siblings. And I believe I forget which one is her children. My grandmother told me the whole story. The short lady had an accident. That's my grandmother's aunt. She had a accident when she was a child and messed up her back, and she wasn't able to grow anymore. But that's a grown woman standing next to her. Those are Black folks. But again, is Black synonymous with African? These are the questions we have to ask, since we know who created whiteness and who created Blackness. That was created after the Bacon Rebellion, because they wanted to give poor white people a higher class above Black folks, because white folks was on the plantations too, but they were under servitude. They had a different agreement. And even some Black folks weren't quote unquote enslaved. That's why they called it a peculiar institution. It's not cut and dry like we were taught to believe, that all Black people came here from Africa. In fact, Sister Keisha, I had a conversation with somebody on that, on one of the posts. He said all Black people in the United States came here by way of slavery. And my question was, so what do we do with Dr. Ivan Van Sertima as they came before Columbus? What do we do with Dr. David Imhotep's, the first Americans were Africans? What do we do with the Grand Master Teacher, Dr. Clark's book, Christopher Columbus and the African Holocaust, where he's citing Black folks in this land prior to colonialism and European invasion? But folks don't want to deal with that. Folks accept the European idea of where Black folks in this land come from. And many of us, those of us who are a little lighter skinned, like me and President Divine, first thing they want to say, oh, you must got the slave master blood in you. Nah, that's not true. Because
like they were saying that about me. They were saying that about me.
They were saying, did you got the slave master blood? But and my grandmother said, you Black as Methuselah. But in seriousness, prior to Europeans coming, what people don't acknowledge, there was 500 different nations here. But people always want to cite the 5 civilized tribes. And then I hear this, or those 5 civilized tribes, they own slaves. But Sister Keisha, here's the part they don't want to talk about. So did other Black folks. Some bought their people. Some had enough money to own land and bought Black folks to be their slaves. But we don't want to deal with reality.
I showed that with my great-grandparents. One was free and bought the other one's freedom. And they got married. As you said, the woman covering her mouth is my grandmother. The woman next to her is her cousin who used to babysit her. Now, how they look to you?
Indigenous.
You see?
People don't know what they're talking about. Especially the older one.
People don't know what the hell they talking about.
They don't. But look, Sister Keisha, here's something else I realized too. A lot of them don't even know who their father is. Some of them don't know who their mom is. They can't do this. And this is just a fact. This is not a knock on nobody, because I'm going to tell you a little family secret that ain't so secret. My grandmother said she thought her grandmother was her mother because her mother had her early. Her mother came to New York and then came back and got her. She said she always thought her mother was her sister. These little family secrets that we have, but we got to start uncovering things and revealing the truth of who we are. Wait till I upload my father's great-grandmother, my grandmother's grandmother, because I'm talking about who I just showed is my maternal family side. That's my mother's side of the family. And then I'm going to show my father's side of the family. I'm going to upload that. And this is no knock on Africans, because I do have African ancestry. But we know it takes thousands to make us. In 6 generations, you already got like 100 and something different ancestors. Over 128 ancestors within 6 generations. So when I show my great-grandmother...
the Racial Integrity Act, Brother Tad.
Oh, yeah, and then I'm going to pass the mic. So I like to share the story. And like I said, me and Sister Keisha been on this type of time. So at least 10 years ago, I went to the Schomburg Research and Culture Center in Harlem, pulled up my family's birth certificates, went to my great-grandmother. She was born in 1910, Halifax County, Virginia. Her birth certificate said Indian. Then my grandmother's, which is her daughter, who my grandmother's still alive, hers said Negro. My mother, who was born in 1956, said colored. Mine said, my birth certificate says Black, and of course my children's says African American. The Racial Integrity Act was started in 1924 when my great-grandmother was only 14 years old. But guess where he started it at? Halifax County, Virginia, where my great-grandmother was born. And what the Racial Integrity Act was, it was also known as a paper genocide, where Dr. Walter Plecker, who was in charge of the Bureau of Records and Birth Certificates, took a lot of Indian birth certificates, scratched it out, and just put Negro. He said, we're only going to acknowledge two races here, Black and white. And that's why so many Puerto Ricans, quiet as it's kept, had passed for white. Hence your Cubans, your Ricky Ricardos, and all the likes. They qualified as white, even though there were court cases in the United States courts, and look this up, where people were applying to be considered white. You even had Sikhs from India who even cited their genealogy come from Aryans, which in essence makes them Caucasian, which makes them white. Some of them got shot down, some of them got upheld. It was flip-flopping. You even had people from Europe who was applying for white status. Some were denied, some were accepted. Why is this important? Because to be qualified as white, when it was first introduced in the 1700s, you had to be white, Anglo-Saxon, Protestant. So it wasn't just enough to be white. You had to be from England. And it wasn't just enough to be a white person from England. You had to be a Protestant. So it had its religious implications too. But it goes so much deeper. But in the Pan-African studies, you don't study this. You study the greatness of the continent and who built the pyramids and who discovered water and all of this stuff. That's what you study. But Dr. Clark says study the white man. That's what Dr. Clark told everybody. Study the white man, then come back and study your people. But most of them never heard of Dr. Walter Plecker. Many still stuck on Margaret Sanger and the likes. But people got to understand there was a whole movement to erase us, not just through Planned Parenthood, but also on paper. We do have a legal status as freedmen. We say FBA, but it's really freedmen. But people aren't as astute to the history and the culture. That's why we're thankful for Sister Brooke and Brother Divine, and especially our Sister K Fighter, and Brother Black and Sister Marcia, for their perspective of being people with ancestry outside of the land, but who still have a strong understanding, not even a basic understanding, a strong understanding that we're not a homogenized group. I can never claim Haiti. Sister Marcia could talk Haiti, cook Haitian food, all that. I can't do that. All I know is sac passe. I hardly know coup d'etat bouleka. But, and there's nothing wrong with us being different. We keep talking about diversity, but it's like when Black Americans want to celebrate their own diversity for the dope shit that we've done and continue to do, we want to get ostracized. But they mad at us because they not us. And that's just the fact. A lot of them don't know who their grandparents are. I lived with my great-grandmother that I'm talking about that was born in 1910. Like, she used to babysit us. I keep telling people, I remember she had this sweet smell. She used to use this powder that smelled real sweet. She always smelled nice, But most of these people don't even know who their mamas and grandmamas is. But I'm off my soapbox with that one.
Back in 2015, September to be exact, Maddox said Blacks must redefine themselves for reparations. This was in September of 2015. In one of his lectures, he said we had to redefine ourselves and be leery of these Judas goats that are protectors of the Wall Street Initiative and the Madison Avenue Initiative. He said they are keeping Black folks from getting their reparations. He said Obama was a smokescreen. A lot of people fell for it. You see? I remember. But a lot of people missed it, went over their head when he said we had to redefine ourselves. And here it is, 2025. We are redefining ourselves. We are redefining ourselves. When I used to MC at UAM, and he used to say, Sister Keisha, where your program at? I said, I got it all up here. Don't you worry. I hate paper. Except in my office with my periodicals. But I hate paper. So I used to take a print screen of everything. Picture of everything. But how you keep all this in your head? I'm paying attention. You see? I bet you a lot of the Pan-Africanists forgot that. But Sister Brooke, your thoughts on this cult of Pan-Africanism?
You know, between you and Dr. Short, I have viewed, like, I have my own view of Pan-Africanism, but so many things have been revealed to me. And one of the things I want to remind you that you taught me was that Judge Joe Brown interview that you sent us. And where he talked about
Karenga. That one?
Yes, that one.
Okay.
Where he talked about that he had started they were starting affirmative action programs that was to actually help Black Americans. And Karanga, head Pan-African, was sent to disrupt it, to take it off track and to make it into what it is now. They also changed the curriculum of what they were fighting for at the school when he was younger. He said he was fighting at his college to have Black American studies. And it was transformed under Karenga into African American studies. And when I heard that, it just was like bling, bling, bling. I remember someone else saying something similar. It was Dr. Claude Anderson. He talked about in Detroit where he tried to have Blacktown because they had, I love when Dr. Claude Anderson started rambling, right? Where he said they got Honky Town, they got Greek Town, they got Chinese Town, they got India Town. I wanted to make Blacktown. And that was also a part of the affirmative action that he was trying to bring forth in the city of Detroit. And it was also thwarted by the Pan-Africans. So it's like we're starting to see that from its inception, or I don't want to say inception, but from the 70s moving forward, especially Pan-African has been used to get us off track from what we want and what we need for our people here in this country. Because for me to know what I learned about from Judge Joe Brown, and then for you to read what you just said that, the great Alton Maddox had to say, it is evident the plan that is in place. And this is what we mean by we can never, y'all, I'm a 80s baby, right? So, I don't know if you guys all watch that All Dogs Go to Heaven. Charlie, we can never go back. It will never be the same. We have learned too much. We have seen too much. We have seen under the skirt of Pan-Africanism. We have seen into the soul of Pan-Africanism. We see it for what it really is, who your And there's some people still putting Karinga up on a platform in 2025. Sitting there, are you standing there with the emoji like this? Like, this is how I feel about Pan-Africanism, as at least FBA Pan-Africanists at this point. This is you. You're closing your eyes, you're closing your ears, and you should close your mouth. Because you're saying nonsense, you don't want to hear the truth, and it's in your face. Let me see. I also just wanted to say this, you know, growing up in East Flatbush as a foundational Black American, I have a different view, you know what I'm saying? A inside track, I guess you could say, because I really was, like, not really was, I really am. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a lot of friends that are Caribbean. Most of my friends are Caribbean. You know what I'm saying? People that are closer to me than family are Caribbean to me, who I love, like y'all say, like cook food. You know what I'm saying? I love them. Will forever love them. Right? So it confused me a lot of times when you were talking about the Tariq spaces. I was so confused. I had never heard the term Akata. Now, I had heard some of the things like, you know, oh, you know, they try to play like we lazy. I've heard the, oh, we don't clean house. I've heard things like that. But the telling me who I can't be, I can and cannot be, never ever happened to me. So I'm like, nobody ever, I always waved my flag. And it has never, I have been in all of the parties. Okay. Jumping up, jump and wave with my American flag. And nobody ever said nothing to me. Now, I don't know if that's a reflection on me, because people knew better. But I just know I never had no problems, and I've been doing it my whole life. I've never pretended to be anybody. I don't put on fake accents. Just like what you were saying earlier, I don't put on fake accents. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to pretend I am you. I don't know you. I'm willing to learn, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you have to, I'm willing to taste all the food, you know what I'm saying? I'm willing to hear all the songs. I'm willing to know all the dances, but I am not you. I am me. And you are you, and I love you, and you should love me for who I am. And one last thing, I do have more, but I'll get off my soapbox here. But you let me know what you want me to do. It also baffles me that people who are new here try to act like life wasn't going on here before you got here. Boo, you knew, booty. We've been doing this, whatever it may be. We've been doing it. Before you got here, was already happening. You hopped on board what we was already doing. You came into what we was already doing. And if you brought it, why wasn't it happening there? And that's the thing. And it's like, and I've even said this about like even with hip hop, you don't know the Jubilaries. You don't know Pygmy Markham. You don't know about even the comedians that used to rap. You don't know. You don't know about Cab Calloway. You don't know. You know why? Because you wasn't here. And that's no tea and that's no shade, but you wasn't here. So you have no right to talk on something where you weren't even present. And yeah, I guess I'll leave it right there. Well, I really want to talk about Mauna Leo, but I don't want to get too off track. So you let me know if you want me to go off about Mauna Leo, because I really want to.
I do, but I'm gonna share this picture that Brother Tad put in the chat.
Okay. Oh yeah, I put a picture up too if you want.
Oh, this is your photo? I thought it was Tad.
Yeah, no, that was me. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
That is my great grandfather. Is he an African?
He looked like what they now refer to as a Native American with a regular cut. That's what he looked like.
They call him. I'm gonna tell you what it says in my family book. They call, and it was in caps, a black Indian, not just an Indian, but a black ass Indian. Okay, that's what he saw himself as. That's what he went around telling people he was.
Do you remember the term Amerindian? You don't hear it anymore, but that used to be a term that was fairly used maybe up to about 15, 20 years ago. Amerindian. That's what exactly that means.
Well, that's my great grandfather. So, you know, that's why I would, like you said, when people be sitting there, you can't tell me. I once had a discussion with someone from the island of Haiti, and he was like telling me, "Oh no, you guys, you're supposed to be African, or you know, how come you're not proud to be African?" It was like, that's not what I'm saying. I was like, my people were here before that. I was here before that. My lineage was here before that. And he was like, "No, that's not true." And I just looked at him, like, I just took a pause and I looked at him. I said, "Are you gonna tell me who the fuck I am?" And I just sat there like that. I just sat there like that. And it just, I think it dawned on him. And he took and he sat back in his chair. He was like, "All right. You think you know better than me who the fuck I am? The unmitigated gall." And let's go into that video that you sent us about Sarnetta finding out he's a goddamn shinny cop. Okay.
I gotta look at that
up there.
I think I have it on TikTok. I'll find it. But speaking of that, I wanted to show this clip from TikTok, because like I said, we have changed the algorithm. It's now FBA top. Period. That's all I'm just telling y'all. You don't gotta believe me? Go over there and type it in your search engine and see what the hell come up. All right. Let's play this and we'll come right back and we'll discuss. Hold on.
You don't think you are the leader of the FBA movement, but many people see you, right? Outside folks see you as that. What I'm trying to explain to you is
that's not true, though.
Oh my goodness, bro.
What you're saying isn't true. We can't move on if you're gonna say something that's false.
All right, let's leave that. Let's put that.
If you're gonna say something false, we can't. No, because nobody thinks that. I'm not the leader of anybody, and nobody is.
I'm not saying that you. I'm not saying you are. I'm telling you, people see you that way, my brother. That's why you got 900 people. Did you see the young man who was on a dating show a second ago?
No. People, listen. The only people who say that are non-FBAs because they're lying and trying to redefine our lineage. The only people who tell that, because that's a lie. And the only people who tell that lie are people who ain't even from the lineage, because they're trying to redefine our lineage as a group with a leader. That's why the argument is in bad faith, sir. You see?
It's not an argument. I'm telling you what I've heard. I'm telling you what I've witnessed.
Your people say that.
Not my people. No. Who's my people? Jamaican?
Your people say that, sir. Now, if your people are lying, you need to talk to your people, and that's why they're lying.
See, and by you using that terminology, your people, and this is what I wanted to get down to the bottom of this, Tariq, right? If you're driving down the street, right, in a car, yes or no? I'm just giving you an analogy. You're driving down the street in a car and police pull you over. And
let me slow you down. Just slow down.
FBA.
Oh, Lord.
See a black man.
Sir, our lineage is not contingent upon what a white person thinks.
Oh, my God. These guys, man.
Our lineage is not contingent upon what a white person thinks. or how a
You
white person pulls us over. Because if we're going to be honest, when I've seen Caribbeans get pulled over and they make sure to talk with that accent to let the cops know that they're not FBA.
I beg to differ.
I know, I've seen it. We put up videos of it, sir. They let people know, hey, we're not one of them. Hey, Bumba Clyde. Yeah, they let them know, hey, if you're gonna shoot somebody, don't shoot me. All right.
You got to be more genuine, brother. You have a lot of people follow you, bro. You got to start telling them the truth and try to help these young men and women understand who they are.
But you can't tell untruths and say because your community. Slow down, sir. Your community sits up here lying, talking about I'm the leader, so that they can try to frame our lineage as a group. Your community does that, sir. So you have to talk to them and ask them to stop lying, because that's a lie, and it's a deliberate lie.
And I'm telling you, 1,000 people are watching you literally melt right now, bro. I'm telling you, because I'm talking to you, and you turn it into something complete.
I'm calm as a cucumber right now, sir. The fourth T. Here's the fourth T. Family in the room. Am I melting? I'm calm as. I'm not even raising my voice. I'm sitting back, chilling with my feet up. I'm not melting, sir. I'm talking to you calm. I'm not even yelling at you, sir. You're not even being honest about that. You're talking about I'm melting, sir? I'm calm as a cucumber.
Can I speak, my brother?
But yeah, I don't want you to tell untruths, sir. I just want you to bring, because you sound like you're an intelligent brother, and I'm talking to you calm. I'm not melting, so don't do that.
And I know you're intelligent, so that's what I'm saying. We should be having a conversation.
Which we are, but it has to be based on facts, okay, and not projection. Okay. And last question. Go ahead, Bertie. Last question.
It's not a question. I'm gonna make a statement.
Got it.
I would like for you to try to help these young FDA men and women understand that they have a bigger purpose than to separate themselves from blackness and then to be xenophobic as they are. On TikTok, they're very xenophobic. They're very hateful towards other black.
You're not going to do that, Bertie. Jamaicans, Bertie, your community, Bertie, Jamaicans have such a nasty disposition towards us when they get over here.
Really?
Yeah, sir. In New York, Jamaicans have this disposition. We're lazy.
I was raised in Brooklyn.
And that's the headquarters of it. That's the headquarters of it. Boy, we all types of lazy Yanks and good for nothing. We're all types of derogatory terms from Jamaican immigrants. And you stay away from those lazy Yanks. Your parents tell you all that stuff. Don't do that, brother. We know what they say. We know what your community does. And not all of them. Many of them are cool. I love Jamaicans. I go to New York.
I know. Everybody loves us. Everybody loves us, brother, across the world.
Yes, indeed. And I go to Jamaica all the time. I got riders out there in Jamaica, by the way. But let's not act like you ain't got some people coming from Jamaica who be on the bullshit as far as us and bring a lot of
Americans are not on the bullshit. A lot of Americans.
We don't go to Jamaica with it. We don't go over there. We go over there showing love. We don't do that. We go over there showing love. We show love here. We don't undermine you guys.
Tethers. What's the word tether mean to you?
That's a person who undermines us, and they're a funky tether when they do it. Yep.
So you promote that word tether
all day. If you undermine us, you a musty tether.
So,
he's a musty tether
all day long. But then again, like Tad always say, they don't even know the definition.
Word.
He said instead of teaching them to separate, that's not what it means, though.
Like when that elder lied in the meeting, in that little funky shindig they had. Said, man, get away from Africa. And it's nothing but a quick Google search. Like he said, he knew exactly who his people was. He said Jamaican. That's delineating. He didn't say black people. He didn't say African. He said Jamaican. He spoke a specific group. But if we say black Americans, we separating from blackness, we separating from Africa, because he said we separating from blackness. When we the epitome of blackness.
So was the delineation from him saying he was from Brooklyn, he was raised in Brooklyn? I don't know if he said born or raised or born or raised or both.
He said he was raised.
Yeah, raised. Yeah. Okay, so what was his point in saying that?
Mm-hmm.
It ain't no point. That's what I'm saying. They come into our spaces, interjects in our conversations because they can't help themselves.
Right. And one of the things that, again, you guys know, I always say, the greatest chick Pan-Africanism ever pulled was telling us that African and Black were the same, right? But another thing that Pan-Africanism has done is it has allowed them to take our definitions and redefine them.
Yep.
To fit their ideology. And so you have him saying, we're like you guys just point out, we're separating ourselves from Blackness. No, that we are Black. Like we are, like you said, we are the definition of Black. Show me the group, and I think Haiti is probably one of the islands or people groups that would come closest, right? But even with them, there is no other group outside of foundational Black Americans that identify as Black primarily and solely instead of their tribe when we talk about the continental Africans and or country of origin when we talk about our Caribbean brothers and sisters. Nobody else just says I'm Black outside of us. So there's no way to separate us from who we are and the identity that we created that most of you come over here and just co-opt and appropriate. That's one. But two, he says something else or didn't say something else for that matter. Notice he tried to call Tariq out for the term tether. And all tether is, understanding when we know the definition, and he said it in that clip, it's an Afro-immigrant that comes in and undermines the Black American collective. That's what it is. But he did not deny, but also did not call out the term Yanks or Yankee. Right. And he, Jamaican, knows that that term is a derogatory term, not only for us, but by proxy, those Jamaican Americans that were born here and or have extended periods of time, when they go back to Jamaica, they are called Yankees as well. And so he tried to call Tariq out for tether, but he was quiet about the term Yankee, which is also a derogatory term for us, but that is in my opinion, the ultimate failure of Pan-Africanism, because it chastises Black Americans for simply standing on our square to be our own ethnic group, but it gives a pass to all the xenophobia that comes from the diaspora our way.
Yep. And shout out to the troll K Runner 25.
We like the troll.
we
like Vanessa is on that ass already. But I have a question for Chrono 25. Africans sold us brutally. Why do you have the need to attach yourself to someone who brutalized your ancestor, if that's your ancestor, and sold them into slavery? That's the perfect example of Stockholm syndrome.
Yep.
You are in love with your abuser. You are in love with your... Go ahead, Tag. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say cognitive dissonance also, because when we present the evidence, they never acknowledge that, as our brother Divine was just talking about. Certain things they'll ignore. They'll try to make a talking point, but when the ball's in their court, they act like they don't know how to serve. Case in point, K Runner. People love to say your DNA, but don't realize that genealogy trumps DNA, because as we know now, what happened to 23andMe, Sister Keisha? 23andMe was shut down because they was creating false narratives about people's DNA, suppressing other DNA, particularly in Black folks in America, suppressing our indigenous DNA and bolstering African DNA. I don't know how these people keep calling the enemy, but then run to the enemy for confirmation and validation. The hypocrisy, the contradiction of it all. And that's the thing with the Pan-Africans. Like when you brought up Malana Karanga, you got people hollering they Panther Cubs, but then ride with Malana Karanga. But I thought he was the op for what they did to little Bobby Hutton. Like, come on, what are we talking about? When we be sitting here trying to cite events and this, that, and the third, or this one's an op, I never seen so much disunity like I've seen in the Pan-African community. And I'm from the streets. Where dudes, if they from Brooklyn, whatever beef they had in the streets, when they get in there, they on each other team. Like, we Brooklyn, we going against this group, we going against that group. We put our differences to the side. I done sat at so many feasts of master teachers, and again, like I said earlier, I don't speak on it trying to keep the integrity of the group, because all these people, whether you BK Runner or whoever, I promise you your resume don't look like mine in the community. I promise you you wasn't sponsoring schools, taking stuff over there, feeding African children and clothing them, buying them stuff. I'm quite sure you didn't take children out of the inner cities and take them around the country to all the different museums and show them the things that Black folks has done, introduce them to master teachers, however you want to dress it up. That's why I get mad at some of these people who keep talking this stuff when Sister Keisha and myself have done the work. I swear, Sister Keisha, I'm gonna send you a picture with us with Dr. Arikana too. Like, we've worked with everybody in the diaspora, off the diaspora, in the continent, off the continent. Your favorite scholars, your favorite authors. Only one me personally, I never got up with was Dr. Claude Anderson. But yeah, so many people. And these folks acting like just trolling and banging on the keyboard make you right. You sound so foolish. Because instead of opening your mind,
he put in here, now we $5 Indian soup.
No, that's the white people. And you got that from Tariq. Come on. Like we said earlier.
No, he's a $5 African. He's a $5 African. Because the Africans say your ass ain't African. Not just the people, but it's leadership said that you're not. But you still trying to wedge your way into something. Perfect example of Stockholm syndrome. Go sit down with a psychiatrist and get your mind right. But I'm going to let my sister Brooke talk a little bit about Mama Leo. Then we're going to hurry up and get the people up out of here. Go ahead, Sister Brooke. Do your thing. You want me to play this clip real quick?
Yeah, play the clip.
All right. Hold on.
You disagree with that? I don't know what the fuck to tell you.
Fuck you then.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you. If you disagree with Black unity throughout the diaspora, just
a lot of these
be a white man.
And you I know you will agree for niggas.
Well, this is the thing. Niggas want to be special, right? But who they want to be special to? Hello. So
who you niggas trying to appease to? We finna get into it.
White people.
And if you don't agree with it, fuck you. I don't know what to tell you. Fuck you. Who the fuck y'all niggas? Who y'all think who y'all feeling like? I've been seeing you little pussy ass tweets.
Oh. So pop your shit.
I've been seeing the pussy shit, and I just want to let y'all know I really don't give a fuck. I'm not reneging. I'm not going back on what I said. What I said was what the fuck I meant. And what I showed y'all and what I depicted in my imagery was what I felt. And if you feel some type of way, bitch, fuck you. I don't know what to tell you. It is what it was. I'm promoting Black unity, Black community, and Black love. And if that step on your toes, you a weirdo. And I don't know what to tell you.
Meanwhile, her manager, who is Nigerian, is on X.
Oh, you mother
kind of avocados. You see? But she ain't got no pushback for that.
fuckers. Okay. All right. I'm putting cases on all you bitches. Huh? You think you can do this shit? Jay! You think you can do this to me? You motherfuckers will be playing basketball in Pelican Bay when I get finished with you. Shoe program, nigga. 23-hour lockdown. I'm the man up in this piece. You'll never see the light of day. Who the fuck you think you fucking with? I'm the police. I run shit here. You just live here. Yeah, that's right. You better walk away. Go and walk away, because I'm going to burn this motherfucker down. King Kong ain't got shit on me.
She getting dragged now. She getting dragged. Guys, this is the Brooke.
So I'm gonna tell you what I thought about her before this even came out. Right? And this is documented on my Twitter, right? So when I first saw her, the teenage me who listened to Little Kim was like, oh, she's young. Whatever, right? And you know, she had the flag. I was like, okay. Then CC Friedman was like, no, I don't like the imagery with the flag together. It's too much. I'm an elder. I'm going to speak on this. And then She snapped me out of teenage me who listened to Little Kim, that has grown up, into the me that now knows the harm that Little Kim did to our community, or music like Little Kim did to our community. I then returned to being the woman who has read the ISIS papers. I then remember that I am the woman that has listened to every single Dr. Francis Cress Welsing interview or lecture on YouTube. If there's a new one, send it to me, because I want to hear that one too. Okay, so and then I started seeing it from a whole new lens. Number one, her imagery is a caricature of what other people view us as. When they look at us, the movie Baps was not a serious movie. It was not a movie glorifying that behavior either. It was a joke. The entire community was making fun of that behavior. It was not to be glorified and emulated. Halle Berry ain't never one day in her life dressed like Baps again. Nor did either the other woman who played in Baps, for that matter. As you know what I'm saying, all the different characters that she played, she never played the character of Baps again, at least that aesthetic. You know why? Because it was a joke. So she sat there. So then when I learned when I learned that her stylist was not a Black American, I'm like, okay, all right, that makes sense, because this is what they see us as. You know, when I'm looking for standards of beauty, you know, I'm looking back at, you know what I'm saying, some beautiful women in the 90s. It was ridiculous. The amount, like I've heard Dewan B say he feels sorry for the kids now on what they have to look at, because he said, like, when he was a boy, I mean, it was, you know, Neil Long, Tyra Banks, it was Tony Braxton, Whitney Houston. I mean, I could go down the line. Then we could go younger, Brandy. You know what I'm saying? The amount, and now they got like Sexy Red, and you know what I mean. And she, although she had a little bit more clothes on than other ones, that's also what made me feel like this was not her. I looked at her Instagram and I ran down her Instagram, even in that interview where they was making fun of, you know, the cartoon, but even in the interview, she was not dressed as the caricature. And let me be clear, fronts is not a caricature. Nails are not a caricature. Different color hair is not a caricature. All of that, you know, whatever she had on is not a caricature. But all of it together at one time in one place in one outfit is a caricature. If you want to wear the fronts, don't wear the hair. If you want to do the nails, you know what I'm saying, then maybe not the hair. You know what I'm saying? Like, balance it out. She threw it all on at one time, and that is the way they see us. Throwing it all on at one time. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way they see us, regardless of how untrue it is. So that's one of the things that I noticed about her before all of that happened. And now to see that her manager, I knew what I knew. Then I saw all the flags. And then what I knew was a problem was when she didn't say nothing. Everybody was arguing, you know, and particularly the family was going to bat for her. Not me. I was quiet. I had unfollowed by that time because I had already saw the bull, you know. So She sat there and let everybody fight it out. She sat there and let FBA have her back, pump her video, push her in the FBA. Who algorithm you said is taking over TikTok, Keisha?
FBA.
Okay. She let FBA pump her in the algorithm. And then she did this interview and burst everybody's bubble. If that's not a plant, I don't know what is. And you know, I'm glad that, you know, it didn't really turn into album sales, because, you know, you might have got clout for a couple of days, baby, but that was short lived. And we here to let you know, but you know, we run the yard, honey. Nothing moves here without our approval, especially in this space. Who you think they gonna support you, boo-boo? They jumping and waving, and they got their own reggae, they got their own Caribbean awards, they got their own stuff. You think they gonna support you, honey? No. You about to be dropped with no label and no stylist and no nothing, because they're not going to support you the way we was supporting you when they was fooled. So say goodbye to your career, because like I said, they're not going to support you. And there you go. So you know what I'm saying? So talk spicy. I like, let me say this in the mic. Boo boo, Manaleo, I like it when you talk spicy. Keep putting your foot in your fucking mouth. It's gonna turn into no money. And I land there.
Great. And you know what? Thank you, Sister Brooke. Thank you. Because I'm so happy that FBA shut it down immediately after that Grits and Eggs interview. And Brother Ty, had to tell you, I always had my suspicion about the Grits and Eggs crew. Them, the 19 Keys dude, rubbed me the wrong way.
You stay talking about 19 Keys.
It's something that's not right. You know, that's just my feeling. My Brother Tad is trying to work his way back up in here. But go ahead, Brother Devon. Go ahead.
Yeah, while it's still hot, I just want to make sure that I fully give Sister Brooke her flowers. She is 100% absolutely correct. Before all of it hit the fan, and this is just the power. I mean, this is why I love the movement and the moment that we're in right now, and why, like, this entire setup, like, you know, getting a chance to work with you, Brother Tad, others in the family, and also with Sister Brooke. This is the beauty of us not engaging in the gender wars in our community and in our current movement. Because I was on the other side, right? I was like, well, you know, we had, and I'm not ashamed to admit it, because I believe this is the power of the movement and how we are correcting each other in real time and growing and learning and seeing things that the others can't see at the moment. And it was something I couldn't see that others around me could see. And there's going to be times where I can see stuff that others can't see. And because it's all being done in love and for one common goal, when there's no ego, it can happen smoothly. And so I was on the side of what we just had, you know, Kendrick Lamar, you know what I'm saying? He's a vital piece in this foundational Black American Renaissance with Not Like Us. And there was some problematic imagery in the video that I didn't agree with, but let's take the message, right? Let's take the meat and spit out the bones. And Sister Brooke was telling me there's not much meat here. It looked like it's all bones. And I'm like, nah, but the flag, and we telling them to get to the back.
And
she
I
like,
said, the flag is the problem. She's doing all this shit draped in our flag, and that's the problem. If you want to be a ratchet hoe, be a ratchet hoe without the flag on, like Glorilla and all. Excuse me, I don't mean to call these young ladies out their name or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I look, because I want to be loving toward them as well. But I'm just saying, if you want to be that type of person, don't put the flag on. Okay.
yep. And that's exactly what she was telling me. And I was like, okay, I can respect that. And then she talked about what she shared with the caricature. And when you just, there are going to be blind spots, right? And so for her to come to me and tell me about the caricature of the Black American woman, I'm like, you know what? I'm not a Black American woman. I love Black American women, but I'm not Black American woman. And so I can respect her perspective. And because I respect her, I was able to receive what she was putting down, and everything that she shared and knew before all the stuff hit the fan was proven to be true. And so I just want to make sure I give her flowers. But I also want to now say and add on the back end of it is this. We knew there was a problem. Well, I came to I didn't see him on the first viewing. But by the time Sister Brooke had already dropped all her gems on me, and I had heard that Conscious Lee was in the video, now it started to make sense to me, because now it was like, what is that Democratic shill doing in a rap video? It don't make no sense. And we already know the Grits and Eggs or whatever his podcast is, we already know that's also a Democratic shill that plays the gender war game, because he was talking about accountability and how Black men need to be responsible for everything that any Black man ever does, but not black women. And so we already knew that the agenda was. So I'm gonna say this, and this is the last piece I have to this, because she said it all, and she deserves the flowers for her message. Isn't it just like the Democrats to shit on their Black American base, thinking they got a more viable base somewhere else, only for it to hit them on their ass in the end? And just like the Democratic shill she is, she shitted on her foundational Black American base, thinking the diaspora is going to hold her up. And we're going to see exactly what those tour numbers look like. And we're going to see exactly what them album sales look like. Because if we know anything, here's what we know about Pan-Africanism and the diaspora. It is one way when we talk about transactional and support, especially financially and monetarily. And the way that it flows ain't the way that she wanted to go. So we'll see what it all pans out to be.
And as you see the photograph right here, Sister Farnessa said, bingo, you know the DNC was involved. Who is he in the photo with? Okay?
That's the Conscious Lee brother. That's he.
Yep. There it is.
That's right.
There it is. He give me Zest vibes. That's just me. I could be wrong. That's just me. But switching over, we like to talk about the greats. Let's go to Dick Gregory. Let's see what Baba Dick Gregory said. All right? About his identity and who we are. Let's go.
By America is my mama.
I don't know nothing else. I wasn't eating chitlins when I was in Africa. Huh? I wasn't eating watermelon when I was in Africa. Huh? I wasn't wearing zoot suits when I was in Africa. I wasn't getting my hair cut when I was in Africa. This bitch is my mama. And yours too. Except I know it's mine.
By America is my...
Bingo.
Gotta love.
Bingo. Let's go to Bobby Hemming. How about let's go to Bobby Hemming instead? Here we go.
The average Native American was this brother's complexion at the turn of the century. Now when you say Native American, it's some white person with a feather in his hair. So how in within blue eyes? So how in 100 years you can become to be a white person with a feather in the hair, and the average Native American was your color? And all you got to do is just look at all the pictures from the turn of the century. We're talking about the 1900s. In the aspect.
See, I can dig in the crates. I will come with some receipts on your behind. You see? And that's why I say it's a cult, because people become selective on what they believe. They become selective on what they believe, not what is fact, not what is true, what makes them feel good in that particular moment. So, as we get ready to close out our programs, give our final thoughts and comments, I want y'all to dig a little deeper into Stockholm Syndrome, especially those of you of the Pan-African community. Research it, mull it over in your mind, and see if you fit the criteria. So, Brother Black, first I'm gonna let Sister Brooke give her final thoughts and commentary. Then we're gonna go to President Divine, and then we'll move to Brother Black. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm just gonna. I had like whatever notes that I didn't say before from earlier. I'm just gonna, wrap it up now. Okay, so one, the term Yankee. I've been wanting to say this like publicly for a while. People from the, our FBA family from other states wonder why the term Yankee wasn't immediately squashed, right? And I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna speak for myself, and I think that other people will agree with me once I, explain what I have to say. Our baseball team is the Yankees. We wear Yankee fitteds all the time. So when people was calling us Yankees, I didn't know y'all was playing me. Y'all was playing in my face. I didn't know it was an insult. I thought, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah. I have pictures of me at Labor Day parades with my red, white, and blue with a Yankee shirt on. I had no idea that y'all was talking trash until I heard someone use it on their child in a negative way. And that's when I realized, oh, that's like the N-word. Cause I'm keen on catching people's N-words, because Mexicans. I lived in California for a little while, so I caught the Mexican N-word. I don't know. Just so the family knows, it's maete. So if you around a bunch of Mexicans and you hear the word maete, get ready, because they talking about you.
It ain't that no more. Now it's Nietzsche. It's Nietzsche now.
I don't know about that one. I know about maete though. So anyway, but
oh man, that's the Brooke. Oh man, she got to come back in. She'll come back in. In the meantime, President Divine, your final thoughts and commentary.
Yeah, I just want to try to bring it back full circle from everything that happened. So for the Mulberry sister, it's a couple things, and you find that the same vitriol.
Hold on, brother. Hold on. She back. Go ahead, sister. Go ahead.
Always coming back at inopportune times. Now it's messing with you.
Did somebody not like that? That was wild.
I know. I'm like, wait a minute. What happened?
It's just all of a sudden it was like I had logged out. That's interesting. Anyway,
I said you was going in too deep, and that's why they
guess so. I guess so. I started
trying to put you in the fifth dimension. Go ahead, sis. Go ahead.
Okay, so anyway,
that was an inside joke at me.
I don't know. I don't know what happened there. Let me take a. Okay, all right. So, So I didn't know that you guys were playing me, like I said, until I heard someone use it on their child, saying negatively, saying that they were Americanized. And that's when I realized, and I'm from here forward, you cannot call me that. That is a derogatory term, and you can't tell me different, because I never heard nobody say it to their child in a good way. Never. So and that's that. And then I also wanted to mention the fact, because President Divine had brought up the fact that people think that we aren't traveled, right? And I want to say it's I think they think that we're not traveled. It's not that we're not, it's that we don't move in large numbers. We travel, we just don't move. We come back home after we go see your part of the world. We enjoy it with you. We have fun with you. You know what I'm saying? We jump away, whatever, have a great time. Yeah. And then I'm coming back home. So, you know, I think people get that confused that we don't travel because we don't move, you know. And I'm going to end with this part. To my Caribbean family, why aren't you angry? When the Africans say things like, we came here on planes and you came in chains, more of you came from Africa than us. Why aren't you mad? That don't bother you? To the Pan-Africans, that don't bother you? Because the day I heard that, the day I heard that they did voodoo on my soul to make sure that my soul was damned in this life and the next, because even the white man let our souls be free. The white man said that when we die, well, at least we get to go to heaven. But the African said, in this life and the next, I damn your soul. So you can never return. So you can never come home. And you want to know why I don't want to move to Africa? Maybe because you implanted in my head thousands of years ago or hundreds of years ago to never want to come back. Maybe it's your fault. I don't want to come back home. Maybe your voodoo works so good that I'm good. You ever thought about that? And to the Pan-Africans, that don't bother you? You could still get on your knees for Pan-Africanism after hearing somebody tell you that you came in chains and they came on planes. You know, last week I ended it by saying, this is why we delineate. This is why we delineate, because they could play in your face, but as soon as I find out, you can't play in my face no more. And I end it right there.
Brother Tad came back?
Not as yet. President Divine, your final thoughts and commentary.
This was why I was trying to sneak in. You see what I'm saying? This is why I was trying to sneak in. She just blew my mind. You see what I'm saying? That right there. Why are you not mad? Now Mulberry ain't even a topic at this point. But anyway, let me just finish my bill because it's already pre-organized in my brain. So to kind of bring it back around to her and close it out with the Caribbean corner, one, obviously, she got up there and lied. We did a trilogy on the bridge. So there weren't snippets of the conversation. It was the whole damn thing. So this idea that you try to make it seem like we just played things out of context, no, it was the whole thing. And we painstakingly went through it. So the family could experience what we experienced and see how we handled it. That was purposeful that we did it that way. And so one of the things that she said there that extends to what she did at the African American Day Parade feedback meeting, and which also ties into the first video you played in New York with the Asians, attempting for me to try to bring it full circle, is that in addition to being a Pan-Africanist, that believes we are indigenous to the galaxy, and she waiting for the people that Brother Black is talking about is going to come in November. She also said that she does not believe in borders. I don't know if y'all remember that on the video in the Caribbean Corner during the trilogy. She said, hell, I don't even believe in borders. And that is what the goal of Pan-Africanism is for foundational Black Americans: to not care about borders, to not care about our birthright, to not care about our citizenship, and to not care about our lineage and legacy in this country. Because if we don't care about any of those things, then you can get what you got in Chinatown, and you can have local politicians advocating for ICE to not do their job and to allow illegal aliens to continue to prosper from an illegal enterprise. See, they've been in Chinatown for my entire natural life, selling knockoff and counterfeit goods. For my entire life, it's known. Matter of fact, people come in tourism to go there to buy the fake bags. And so, no, that's all well and good to a certain degree if what's good for the goose is good for the gander. But I'm also old enough to remember when Black Americans couldn't legally sell fruit, couldn't legally be food vendors, couldn't legally sell anything. Hell, there's certain parts of the country where you got cops being called on Foundation Black American Children legally selling lemonade for local violations, and cops being called on those kids. But we're supposed to let the Asians and the Africans that are here illegally sell their goods on the street in the open. And you got city council members advocating for illegal activity, but telling us we can't advocate for our ancestors specifically, solely, and exclusively. See, this is the goal of Pan-Africanism. Because if nothing matters, then nothing matters. And they need nothing to matter so that everything they care about can matter. So that the only people that don't matter is us. And so this live was so necessary because we have to break that African-centered addiction. And I'll end it here because I know it's getting late. There was a sister, myself and Sister Brooke, we went down to DC for a Freedmen Forum. And I don't want to take credit because I did not come up with it. But my sister Kelly said that Pan-Africanism wants us to be, and I'm paraphrasing, melanated tofu. Because tofu, when you cook it, takes on the flavor and the form of whatever you cook it in. And so if we are melanated tofu, then they get to flavor us any way they want. And we become whatever they say we become. And then we become anything that they need us to become to get everything they want, and we get nothing. And so I'm going to end my submission by saying, you are no longer allowed in the kitchen. There's only one chef, and that's the FBA chef. And we master chefs. So from this point forward, let us cook.
What do I say to that, brother? Come on, man. Come on, man. Being that you cooked the dinners, all that, I'm going to have a drink and pass the mic to Sister Marcia because I ain't trying to even follow nothing there. My brother, I'm going to rename you So you won't be bro, you be So Divine. Peace. One love.
Thanks, Brother Black. So I do have a couple points. I'm not a chef in the kitchen. This is America's kitchen, and America's people speak. What I'm going to say is a couple of things. I think I'm going to go in reverse order because you said you're cooking. I'm going to respond to your cook and respond to the fact that all diasporans come to America, right? When they talk about we came in planes and you came in chains, none of those planes land in Caribbean soil. You won't find a Nigerian in Trinidad. You won't find a Nigerian in Guyana, Haiti, and anything. And even if you find Kenyans in Haiti right now, at this present moment, they are at the behest of America. They are not there because they want to visit or build a business or colonize in any way in Haiti. They are just there to be there because they're getting paid. All those other people that take those planes, and my parents included, I'll never leave them out of the conversation to complain because of lack of opportunity in their homeland, and no other groups of people are going to their homelands, and neither are those people returning to those homelands to build opportunities that are capable on those lands. So that's cook. Thank you, Brother Divine, because I'm in full agreement of that. Number so many, but I'm gonna go into parts. So remember I said 300 years. 300 years places in 1700s. At least if you're from a Caribbean island, if you are in those parts where, you know, you're in certain territories where people went up in mountains, where Europeans weren't chasing you up in mountains, you trace those lineage of those indigenous folks. The same way that foundational people can place their lineage 300 years. You know, anything further than that, man, you're glorious. So I praise to be able to go further than that in my trace of my lineage. Someone had mentioned, Dr. Clark said to first study Europeans and then study self, right? And I'm in full agreement because you're in school for 12 years learning only about Europeans. When do you take the time and the opportunity to study self? And where are those self centers where people could come in? And not a toast to Africans on the Rise, but where are those centers where people come in and learn about self? Because yes, there are independent learners, independent students that go out there and do their study like, oh, you gave me a challenge, I'm gonna do it. And then there are other folks that need support. And so Africans on the Rise, UAM was one of those spaces for me as an adult. You know, it was there when I was a young person, and I dipped in and out. But as an adult, I definitely know that for my last 7 years in corporate America was with UAM. Every Wednesday, faithfully. I'm going to be home late. This was the place that I regain my consciousness about Blackness. We are missing these spaces. This forum is great, but we are still missing these live face-to-face spaces so our community can grow as a nucleus. And I think my final thought is going to be that, we're talking about FBA and people having no value and all the great foundations, right? Coney Island, the destination, right? It was a destination as a young person. Easter, after Easter church, you're going to Coney Island. You're doing all of these things. But Granville T. Woods, who celebrates an anniversary October 18th, we know nothing about him. Our people, there's no plaque that says this great Black man from America did this. That cyclone, we don't celebrate these things because there are no placards of or ownership of the great things that were brought to civilization by FBAs, by Black people from any other region that created something, that built something. Too many people younger than us still don't know about these things. And it is our responsibility to capture that ownership and truly celebrate it in ways that the children know where they're going, where Black people were, those markers, those things. Because as Dr. Clark said, you study the Europeans, place markers all over the place. And I think Sister Keisha had mentioned one time, leave what was that foundation that that built all these markers of Ulysses S. Grants and all of those places. And then during COVID or stuff, they started tearing them all down. Sister Keisha was like, no, leave those markers there because we need to know. Well, we also need markers. Say that again, sis.
Statues.
The statues, but what was the organization's name that built those? The Sisters of the Confederate? The Mothers of the Confederate? Whatever. Anyway, those people built those things, left those monuments, put those monuments in place. People know them. People like, oh, look, Columbus right there in Columbus Circle. Well, where are our markers that establish us where we've been and where we will go? I think that's going to be our next real great marker of what we're going to do to make people understand the plateau of, not even the plateau, the growth of foundational people of America. Turtle Island, let's not forget. Let's go. If we're taking it back, we're going to take it all the way back. Turtle Island. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, you wasn't finished? Oh, she said yeah. But Brother Tad lost his Wi-Fi for a second. But you can catch him and our brother C Gutter every Sunday, 2 p.m. on the OG Wisdom Podcast, right here on YouTube. Something I want to touch on that Sister Marcia said, as it relates to Kenya being in IET right now, at the behest of the West. Kenya is in IET right now because Kenya's leadership is thirsty and greedy. Just like all of the other nations that receive funding from the place that they shouldn't be, but they are too dependent, if you will, on resources from other folks. Kenya is in IET because its leadership is greedy. And so, just like a fat child, you can either keep the cake away from the fat child or you can keep feeding the fat child. And as long as Africa has its hand open, you are the fat child. And so you will continue to be played by whomever. And now, more importantly, the Chinese and the Russians. Because you see, as people champion Ibrahim Traore, he has traded one white master for another. There is no difference. The same with Mali and the rest of those nations. You traded G8 or the G7 for BRICS, another white nut for you to ride on. And so until you're able to stand 10 toes down on your own, you're a butthole. And I have to say that. But tonight we're going to close out. Before we close out, play this clip of the great Dr. Claude Anderson explaining delineation in this conversation with Rock Newman. Here we go.
Answer where you said that you talk about native blacks. And so that clearly sounds as if you are delineating native blacks versus someone that comes here from Bermuda or Jamaica or wherever they may they may come from. The purpose of that is what? Because you're on the surface, it would be like, hey, everybody here that's black gets treated a certain way. Why are you making that delineation?
That is an excellent point. You know why? Because you see, those people coming in from Jamaica or coming in from Africa, they have not been treated like black folk in this country. That's the first thing. And secondly, historically, they haven't had those historical experiences. They come in here voluntarily. When they come in here, they bring some cultural aspects from Africa. They can go back anytime they want. But the black people in this country have been exceptional people. Nobody's been mistreated, maltreated like them. The black folk are exceptional. They're the only people that came here forcefully, one. Two, they're the only people that denied their humanity. Three, they were the only people that denied a right to enjoy the fruits of their labor. Four, they were the only people that denied the right to participate in government. Five, they were the only people that denied the right to vote. Six, they were the only people that denied the right to have an education. Seven, they were the only people that denied the right to have a business. Eight, they were the only people that participated in every war that this country has had since its founding, but whose mother country has never been against this country. All those immigrants come from countries where they fought America, and they came in. And there's seven, that they are the oldest and most patriotic people in the country. Not the Confederates in the South. They're not the most patriotic people waving the Confederate flag. The most patriotic people in this country are black people, native blacks, because you see 99% of all those blacks have been direct descendants of slaves. They've been here before 99% of all the other people ever arrived in this country. They're special people. And because they're special people, they need to be recognized, appreciated, and reparated for what they've done in this country and building this country. They're the ones that built the bridges, the roads, cut the timber, the trees, and cleared the land, raised the tobacco, cotton, indigo. They're the people that fought in every war to protect this country. The people coming from Africa or coming from Jamaica didn't. They came here voluntarily. And the most important point on this is if you lump them with black folk, then you give the dominant white society a justification to say we don't owe black folk anything. Mm-hmm. Because you see, the blackness black people's blackness is more than just color. It is their heritage, it's their history, it's their code of conduct, and more importantly, it is their badge of honor, and it's what it symbolizes the indebtedness that this country has to them. This country does not have an indebtedness to people coming from Africa. They only have an indebtedness to people coming in from the Bahamas. If you lump black folk in there, you deprive black folk of the benefit, the debt that's owed them. Don't do that.
And there you have it. And there you have it. No need to say anything more. Next week, we're going to dive more into the political danger of not delineating, of not disaggregating. We're going to go into the politics. We're going to look at some of these think tanks, organizations, caucuses, monies given, all of that next week. Remember, family, forever, we are thorough, we are black, and this is our worldview. Y'all have a good rest of the week. Stay safe and stay dangerous at the same time. If you don't believe that FBA is the algorithm, go to TikTok. Put Foundational Black American in your search engine. Put FBA in your search engine. Go to X, put it in your search engine, and watch what comes up. Figure out why people all over this nation are up to 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning having listening spaces. And Sister Marcia said we need these spaces. If you don't move with technology, it will run over you. We are having these spaces. It's just that it's a different realm. It's a different paradigm. You have to move with technology because you are missing a lot. And our young people, old and young, are now in these spaces. So the rest of you, catch up. We are out. Oh, don't forget, Thursday. This Thursday is the business meeting, right? For reparations tomorrow. Next week is the public hearing at Bethany Baptist Church. Bethany Baptist Church is where the United African Movement was formulated in 1988. And so, I will have a lot to say when I pull up on the 28th. Good night, y'all. We are out.
On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voices strong, knowledge tight. Thorough black talk in the air, changing minds, changing flair. From brother Tad to sister K, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcy brings the heat, brother Blacksmith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Thursday nights the world will see Black Power Media on a spree. Facebook, YouTube all aligned, breaking free from every bind. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves, they fly